Pratik, we are live now. You can start the video.
Sure, I'm starting.
Hello.
Beside the sea. How makes the world safer? वायरस गार्ड वाला प्लाई लाया हूँ घर। अब फर्नीचर में नो मोटर। What a duffer! ऊपर के खतरे का टेंशन तो कौन? अंदर के खतरे से बचाएगा कौन? अंदर का खतरा अधिकतर प्लाईवुड से फॉर्मिंग गैस का एमिशन होता है, जो सेहत के लिए हानिकारक है। फर्नीचर बनाए सिर्फ ग्रीन प्लाई से, जो लाया है इंडिया का पहला जीरो एमिशन प्लाई। जीरो चुनो, खुल के सांस लो।
We can start, Dhanrasu.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all to the day 3 of GreenPro Summit 2021. Today we are having two sessions, one session on sustainable paper packaging, which will be chaired by Mr. S. N. Venkatraman, Executive Vice President, Marketing and Commercial. Mr. Venkatraman, he's fondly called as a Venki. He has more than 25 years experience with ITC, Paperboard and Specialty Papers Division. So he has worked in various fields, including sales, key account management, international sales, and as the head of domestic sales. During this period, ITC PSBD has steadily expanded its business and is today a dominant player in packaging and graphic paper boards, communication papers, and in specialty boards. So PSBD today has majority of share of the virgin boards and premium recycled boards segments. The division also a leading exporter of value-added paper boards to nearly 45 countries. So Venki's portfolio now includes materials and plantation in addition to sales and marketing. He is a member of the Divisional Management Committee of ITC PSBD, the strategic think tank for the business. So Mr. Venkatraman and other fashions include finding out what makes teams tick, travel, exploring the digital world, and building the necessary connection to future sustainable packaging. So he has received a lot of achievements. To name a few, he is on the CII Telangana panel as a convener, and he is also the regional chairman of Indian Institute of Packaging, Hyderabad. He initiated the membership for ITC in WWF GFTN India, which brings together business and other stakeholders interested in sustainable forestry development. So this led to FSC certification for products and wood plantations. And he and his team have worked closely with the FMGC, pharma, food and other packaged goods companies in meeting brand packaging requirement by bringing world-class products to the Indian market and propelling ITC PSBD to a leadership position. So he has laid the roadmap for PSBD's GreenPro program, and unit Bhadrachalam is now Platinum Plus rated unit, which is the highest platinum plus level given by GreenPro rating. And also unit Kowai has received platinum level certification from GreenPro rating. So now we have the person who is leading various sustainability initiatives in ITC Limited with us to chair the session. Welcome to the session, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Dhanarasu. Good afternoon, everyone. And a special welcome to our speakers for the day, Mr. Jikul Purohit of PAC4A, Mr. Manoj Nair of TCPL, and of course, Mr. Dhanarasu from the CII Green Center. So, all the three speakers are part of the journey as far as GreenPro and paper packaging are concerned. Akshay Kanoria of TCPL was a member of the committee, which was formed a year ago. Jikul, who was then at Unilever, was also a member of the committee. And I had the good fortune of chairing a committee with such eminent people. And Dhanarasu and of course Karthikeyan were also part of that, apart from 10, 12 other members. So we had 15 members. So nobody today, asked the question as to whether sustainability should be on the center page or not. 4 or 5 years back, it was a nice thing to have. Today, I think all of us recognize that it's on the center page and it's actually driving business and going to become a more important driver than in the future. So we have been associated with CII now for almost a decade as far as the GreenPro rating is concerned. And the GreenPro and the GreenPro are slightly different. And to my mind, the difference is this. GreenPro started, in terms of various industries and moving beyond what was common to the industries to what was specific to the industries too, in evolving a kind of rating scale. So I think in that sense, GreenPro was a very bold ambition, but it remained at the factory level or the unit or the production unit level. And therefore you had a nice platform and a tool which enabled you to become more lean, competitive, sustainable as far as your cradle to factory grade kind of operations are concerned. But it was not something I could tell Manoj Nair ever, that, we reduce our water consumption from 50 kiloliters per ton of paper to 30, you'd say, mere liye kya? Or even for that matter, Jikul. Although Jikul and Unilever probably had a bit of sustainability goals and directives to work. Yes. But at a printer converter level, people would ask, how does it matter to me? Why? What does it mean for me in my packaging? How can I use it? What is its business value? And things like that. So I think it's a very wonderful move that GreenPro has now moved to packaging materials. I'm a bit surprised that we took 5-6 years to do it, because GreenPro started in 2015. And I think bulk of your 2,100, 2,500 products and whatever 150 manufacturers are still building materials, as I saw from the awards and all that, which you were presenting after the inaugural ceremony. But, that it has moved into packaging and paper packaging is a great, great move. Now we have to take this forward. Now, paper packaging, as anyone would tell you, especially the folding carton packaging, is easily about 1,000 to 1,500 units scattered across India. You can add double this number if you want to add corrugated units. And there are other forms of paper packaging, which are in the form of sleeves, bags, and things like that. So easily, maybe you're looking at a population of anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 printer converters across the country who actually need a tool or a platform in order to assist their operations and also do their business in a way where their customers value them for the sustainable portion of the competitiveness of their business. And then you have a landscape which is populated by, FMCG, food companies and other kind of durables and publications and even pharma and companies like that, which would also add for a clientele of anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000. Mostly it was the multinational companies in India and the Indian equivalent of the global multinational companies like ours and ITC and other like Godrej, for example, in India, which have led the movement as far as sustainability is concerned. But in order to give more momentum, I think you had to do this at a package level or at a value chain level. So when I say value chain, GreenPro is very nice for us because we are big consumers of resources. It may not have mattered much to a printer converter. Okay, and Unilever actually are looking for somebody to tie everything together, if I might say so. And I think that is what GreenPro enables us to do. So the GreenPro standard, which has been evolved, is not the perfect standard. I think there are contributions from everybody, but I sincerely believe that it's almost the first of its kind of standard in the world, which looks at the entire spectrum of paper packaging. So you're talking about the raw material content and its value in terms of whether it's with recycled fiber or with FSC certification so that it doesn't harm forests or plantations. You are looking at whether, the packaging design goes a bit beyond lightweighting, what is the volume to product ratio. There are factors and like this, criteria like this, which have been built in. We're also looking at design factors as to, what kind of glues, adhesives, paper you'll use. So there's a bit of design for recyclability and biodegradability, which also get you scorecards. You are looking at how a continuous business, which a printer, converter, or end user might do, can become more and more sustainable. So if you take levers, there are very large brands in soaps and personal care, and it may be that Glow and Lovely or something like that can actually have now a product map as to where it wants to move in terms of sustainability and drive it through the entire value chain, starting from us up to the Unilever brand in the retail shelf and to the consumer. We're looking at resource efficiency and cleaner manufacturing process from the material supplier, from the paper converter, and maybe also in Unilever factories or contract manufacturing process. You are tying in with the current regulations where, in printing, converting, or otherwise, where you do not want to use certain solvent-based things or VOC emissions, or want to control VOC emissions, or adhesives which have a very high negative LCA value, if I might say so. We're looking at all those things, and all those things get awarded. So prohibited substance during manufacturing process. And what it enables is, it enables a collaboration across the entire value chain. So this is not even per unit, not even per converter. So somebody in an end-use company, ITC, Godrej, Unilever, Nestle, anybody can pick up a certain brand, see what SKUs they have a current scorecard from it through converter A, and let's say supplier X, which is us in the packaging material, and then have a program as to how they want to make the entire packaging of the material, much more sustainable, lean, and resource efficient. That is what this can enable us to do. I am sure the standard will evolve, probably go into climate change factors like carbon, for example, the embedded carbon footprint and what you're doing there. And possibly tomorrow it might spawn a lot of carbon neutral packaging itself, apart from other aspects of sustainability which it governs. So that could be the end point for this standard. So that is why we have a brief introduction. So we just have about 75 minutes together. I think between Dhanarasu and me, we have taken already 10, 12 minutes of this. So I'll go ahead. We have three eminent speakers, and the first speaker that I would invite would be Jikul Purohit. So Jikul Purohit is a co-founder of Pack4A. Pack4A is a recent packaging solutions consultancy which has started. A seasoned professional with 17 years of experience. And he has led various local and global packaging designs and development roles at Unilever, worked across three categories: foods and refreshments, home care, and personal care. And in his last assignment, he led packaging sustainability agenda for Unilever Asia, working closely with packaging professionals and partners across South Asia, Southeast Asia, China, and Australia. By background, he's an electronics engineer with a PG diploma in packaging from IIP. He is very well known within the industry for his collaborative approach, nurturing leadership, creativity, and problem solving. He is awarded with the prestigious Gold Star Award and various Asia Star, India Star, and Pack Missionary Awards. So I think, as usual, we should begin with an end user kind of perspective. So now I invite Jikul to share his presentation and his insights and experience as to how sustainability can be driven forward, and how he sees GreenPro playing a role in the future. Over to you,
Thank
Jikul.
you. Thank you, Venki, for a background, and I think a fantastic forum. So would like to thank CII for inviting me to represent the consumer as well as the user's perspective in this area, and how paper is making a difference, or how paper is making a inroad, and then like Venki said, how the GreenPro is going to become more and more relevant for a consumer in coming times. Yeah, just very briefly about Pack4A. So we are a 2.5 years young packaging a consulting company. We work across 360-degree, wherein we work on innovation, we work on supply chain, as well as we work on some of the end-to-end digital platform providing support, and we work not only with brand owner but also with feedstock as well as with a converter. We are currently in last 2.5 years. We have served 36 plus clients. We are multi-industry, so we engage with food, pharma, personal care, home care, automobile kind of a packaging. We have a comprehensive capability. So, we understand machine, we understand materials, and we understand processes. We are a team of around 50 plus packaging professionals operating across the globe. And we have team members and people, in UK, in America, in Southeast Asian countries as well. And some of our customers are on board. So in case if anyone need any packaging support, do come back to us. For today's discussion, um, uh, will be kind of, the paper is at a center stage, and I will be kind of, talking about, evolution of packaging and some perspective on, what is happening there. A little bit about, what is the challenge in India as well as globally as far as the packaging is concerned, and how, packaging has evolved over a period of time. Circularity is a solution, and that's what a lot of world thinker are talking nowadays. A bit of a consumer perception, and why paper is having an edge over other material, because even if sometime uh, 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 industry believe it different way, but consumer perception and what consumer believe is the a most important part, and that's where let's see what some consumer have to speak about some typical LCA kind of assessment to put a point saying that how paper is um, uh, much better for many of the applications or typical applications which are there. Some of the success stories where this journey has already moved on, and there are a lot of example wherein paper has made the inroads, and that's where what are then with paper also, what could be the issues and challenges which really need to address. And in that slide, I have touched on a point saying that how could GreenPro or how could this kind of a certification help to kind of build this whole confidence of the industry across the industry, and the conclusion part of it. Yeah. And what I would like to bring to notice, for many of us is that uh, uh, the industry, it comes in a full circle. Yeah. And those, who are in the industry for long, they remember some of the packs which are there on extreme left side. Yeah. And that's where the industry was when it all started, so initially, maybe 3 to 4 decades back, paper was one of the most preferred material for packaging. Yeah. And that's where some of the bigger brands also were looking at a paper, and at that time hygiene, convenience, printability, and probably the barrier requirements or need of a barrier was comparatively lower, and that's where it all began. And some of the examples I've taken, like cornflakes were into the carton, no liners and things were there. The cup and noodle started with some sort of a paper cup at some point in time to begin with. There were low barrier kind of paper based laminates which were there for chocolates or for snicker kind of a bar, and even some of the Maggie cubes which are very very popular in some of the countries were in a paper based packaging which was there. Yeah. in uh, in time frame, plastic came with a lot of advantages on table, and it created this whole need which is around safety, around value, around much better printing and branding, and also around high barrier. Yeah, and in many application, probably where we needed it, it was a real boon. But in many application wherein probably we did not need it, but still because it was available, we started assuming it as a factor which was coming from a plastic. But now this also came with its own set of a challenge, and I think all of us know that some of the world thinker believe that single use plastic is having multiple challenges along with the advantage which it is bringing onto the table. And one of the biggest challenge is the litter, or the immortality of this plastic, because it actually stays in environment forever. And that's why people started looking at the solutions which are much better, so to say, which are uh, 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 circular. And that's where life is again coming back in a full circle, and paper is making an inroad, and you see a lot of applications. So a big global company has launched this energy bar in a fully paper based solution. The secondary wrap, so even Maggie Bouillon Cube, which was earlier into a plastic based packing, are now moving into a paper or a paper foil kind of completely recyclable packing. There are a lot of packaging which is coming with paper, or some sort of a completely recyclable or completely circular kind of a coating onto the paper to get certain kind of a properties. But those are coming in chocolates. Again, some of the chocolate bars, and I still remember in my childhood, the chocolate bar used to have a paper wrap outside and a foil which was there. And now again, in a full circle, that kind of a format is coming back. So I think the packaging journey, I think somewhere it has seen the whole circle, and the paper is again coming back into the center stage or a limelight, especially from the sustainability perspective, which is disposal, responsible packaging, as well as a better or easier recycling. Yeah, people say that plastic is also fully recyclable, but I think all of us know that the challenge which is there versus the paper industry is kind of much more advanced. Yeah. uh, uh, I think this slide, most of us are aware of it. It's not that we have not seen this in past. So the bigger problems which are there are the litter. Because of the litter, the wastes are piling into the landfill. There are no spaces left into the landfill, and once that resource reaches the landfill, you can't recover it, or you can't even do anything with it. So that is a challenge. The sometime this is leaking into the environment, and river pollution is a big challenge. Some of the biggest polluted river are unfortunately in our region which is there. And then this plastic which is leaking from environment, leading from different water channel and all, it is reaching into the ocean. And all of us know that a lot of world thinker are saying that by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than the fishes. Yeah. And all of us have seen that some way this plastic is also coming back to us, because sometimes this plastic fragment into a microplastic, it is ingested by some of the aquatic animal. And if you eat a fish which has ingested this microplastic or a plastic, you also will get some form of a plastic or a microplastic in your body. So somewhere it's not only that it's a primary challenge or a issue, but it is becoming something which is affecting all of us. And regulations are one of the area wherein the impact can happen. But typically the D&E market, typically countries which are developing, where they are also developing the infrastructure as well as some of the rules and regulation. And that's where the challenges are, that some of the packaging or some of the plastics are not bad, but the way it is handled is bad. And that's where we need a stricter regulation, and we need more and more responsible people so that these challenges will be addressed. Yeah. And like one of the area which most of the people or most of the world thinker and Ellen MacArthur Foundation is one of the thought leader in this area, and what they are talking about is that till now we were kind of living in a era where it was a linear economy. You take the natural resources, you make a packaging or you make a product out of it, you consume it, and then remaining portion used to go into the waste. Yeah. So it was almost like a use and throw culture. But the new thinking or a new economy is something called a circular economy, wherein raw materials stay much more in the economy than it was there. Paper had demonstrated this, even ages back or decade back, and probably one of the most proven recycled material in the industry today. But even for plastic or even for combination of some of the material, this thinking or this end-to-end design thinking around circularity is adding a lot of value. A lot of companies are now adapting to some of the circular economy strategy. And basically what we will do is we will not deplete all the natural resources in one generation, but we would rather keep it for our future, and we will exploit these resources much more into the economy. Yeah. And I think already touched upon this, that paper as a solution is already proven and is becoming important. Now let's slightly change the gear, or let's slightly change the perspective in terms of what is consumer perception about paper. Yeah. And like we said, I think one of the oldest material which consumers are being using it for generation. Now plastic and other material brought lot of advantages along with it, lot of convenience along with it, but at the same time the a consumer believe that paper still is much better alternative which is there. Yeah. And that's where I have a two data point from one of the McKinsey study. Yeah. And typically post COVID, and the way the world has changed, people have started appreciating or realizing this whole area of environment and sustainability much more. And we can't play with environment, we can't play with nature so much, otherwise the ill effects are something which we are all seeing. So one side there is this whole angle of a COVID which is there. On other side we have global warming and carbon emissions which are there, and that's where Indian consumer almost like 90 to 95% of Indian consumer is saying that sustainable packaging is very important. And even if they have to pay a little extra, they would go for a sustainable packaging. Yeah. 5-6 years back, while I was in Unilever and we had done some of the studies, India was not on top of the pyramid, it was somewhere else, because consumer was saying, yes, we understand sustainability is important, but we are not willing to pay extra for sustainability. But like I think Venki also made a point previously, now sustainability is a common practice, no one is debating about it. Indian consumer also thinks very similar. The thinking shift which has happened, which is like people are also willing to pay a little extra for a better or more sustainable alternative. And when it comes to flexible paper or paper based carton, it is on top of mind. The highest score in terms of consumer saying that what do you believe is a better alternative, consumer came back and consumer said that it is a flexible paper or it is a paper based carton, which are the better solution for some of the product. Yeah. So that's where I think paper is making an inroad. A lot of people then will ask um, uh, a thing saying that, oh, but how about life cycle assessment, and it uses a lot of water and it uses some of the chemical, and some of the practices are probably are not good. But I think the best way is through the analytics and best ways through seeing the chain end to end, from source all the way back to the source, yeah, including the end of life solutions and recycling and what is happening in this area. And I think GreenPro and the whole methodology is going to bring a scientific thinking around it, and key indicators to kind of reassure the whole value chain that things are working well in this direction. And some LCA, typical LCA studies of a beverage carton, typically for a dairy or a milk kind of a product, wherein glass, PET, HDPE, and paper-based cartons were evaluated. And when you see the climate impact, paper actually has a least climate impact because paper come from trees. And what is more important is that yes, this forest or this tree has to be grown sustainably. But if it is sustainably grown, then it is acting as a carbon sink, and it is actually helping the environment to take the excess carbon. That's where it actually starts with a huge positive at a carbon end, and then it goes through the cycle of manufacturing, transportation, uh, 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 actual filling, and the processes, and reaching consumer, and what is then the end of life. Yeah, because paper very easily comes back to become a paper. And almost proven that 7 to 8 cycles, sometime even more than that, the paper can certainly perform. So that's where not only in terms of making the material, but also end of life is very, very well established across the world. Yeah, even today in plastic, people are talking that yes, plastic is recyclable, but is it getting recycled in practice into all the market? Probably not. In India, hardly 5 to 6%, or globally, in fact, more less than 8% of the plastic is getting recycled versus paper. Even in India, I don't know, for ages, this whole Raddiwalas, they take the paper back, and the whole value chain is very, very well established. Yeah. And that's where I don't think, yeah.
I'll add a button. You have another 5 to 6 minutes more.
Sure.
So that we have
Sure.
time for discussion or question and answers at the end. Okay.
Absolutely.
Just time yourself. Pace yourself.
Thanks, Venki, for that. And I will. That's where I think the key point, saying that what are the challenge, why, what consumer believes, and technically or scientifically what is the evidence, which is what I had to make, which is already covered. But some of the application and some of the things are kind of happening, and we are seeing the shift happening at a very, very rapid pace. So in no plastic, the paper wraps are becoming very, very popular. The example of Nestle has already launched it for some of their chocolate in EU. Some of the plastic is getting replaced with paper bottle, and globally there are multiple consortium and multiple companies who are working on this concept of formed fiber based bottle. But even in India, small startup like a Kagzi Paper is attempting to make this kind of a bottle out of a paper. And I think in time to come, maybe in 3 to 4 years, you will see a lot of transition. Yeah, e-commerce industry was completely having a plastic based packaging, but now you see the transition into the paper happening very, very fast. And be it some of the food based retailer, or be it some of the e-com retailer, some of these bags or paper bags are becoming very, very popular. Yeah. Even the primary packaging, or even some of those application, paper is making a strong inroads. So that's where quick service restaurant nowadays, most of the packed whatever stuff we are getting are into a paper or a coated paper kind of a solution. Some of the innovative solutions like bag in box is replacing the conventional plastic based container, and that's where there are two layers, and inside for certain barrier and all they still have a plastic, but that plastic is almost half or less than half the weight, because the whole structure and the body is provided by the paper based packaging, and it can be easily separated and it can be easily recycled into the respective stream. uh, some of the food deliveries and thing is also nowadays, so even in a direct contact, some of the food is now coming into the paper, and a lot of plant based coatings and a lot of plant based chemistries are getting developed which are compatible with paper, at the same time can give you certain barrier which is required to store food and to store material. Certain things which I myself had worked while I was in Unilever, and even my converting partner and my feedstock partner are on the call. So we had replaced earlier the soap cartons were with a plastic coating, and we completely eliminated this plastic coating by putting a antifungal coating onto the paper board, and that's where it becomes 100% plastic free and 100% recyclable kind of a paper. Similarly, the soap wrapper as well as the stiffener, you know earlier used to have a plastic element or a plastic coating, and there also a very similar technology was used to eliminate that plastic coating which was there. And on cartons, a lot of laminations were getting used earlier to avoid scuffing, to have this gloss and shine and get a better thing. But now consumer as well as customers are becoming more and more aware of it, and they are choosing an alternative which are elimination of this lamination, but moving towards more of a coating and a better chemistry, so that the paper is fully recycled. I touched upon the whole area of plastic bottle, but some of the challenges or some of the things which industry need to kind of address in paper, and if this is addressed, then paper will make inroads into much bigger portfolio, and will have much bigger play. So one area is high barrier and a high strength requirement for typically a wet product, and that's where also I mean a lot of work is happening, but maybe in next 4 to 5 years a lot of things will happen there. Second thing is today, whatever said and done, typically in a DNE market, the plastic based packaging is very very cost competitive or very very value driven versus alternate material, be it paper or other alternate material. It still need to kind of work on how does the whole cost equation comes down, or how does the cost becomes much more competitive. And again, the last thing is that the whole life cycle approach or life cycle assessment approach to understand exactly that which application or which area the thing. And I think GreenPro will actually make consumer as well as customers aware of some of these things, and bring in this scientific understanding and data, plus very simple kind of a symbol or something available to consumers, so that they understand that yes, this packaging indeed comes from a sustainable source, or this packaging indeed is better than something which was used in past conventionally. And just to summarize, that's where sustainability is the new innovation. Consumers are more positive and accepting what comes when it comes to paper. Paper solutions are truly circular and the future. Yeah, and sustainably sourced paper are the future, maybe not any paper. A more partnership and ecosystem approach is required, and better coordination between the paper manufacturer, the converters, and the user industry to kind of tie up some of the challenges which are there today in the industry. And I think we need to go back to where it all began. And paper, I believe, is kind of going to be the future. And let's explore the opportunities together. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Venki, over to you. Yeah.
Right, Jekyll, thanks. I think you exceeded your time a bit as far as the overall. If time were carbon, I think you were slightly intensive, but it was worth it. Okay, so I think the main takeaway for me was that LCA is a pretty difficult and quite costly tool to employ and deploy. GreenPro actually, to my mind, is like a short form LCA. Okay, without wasting much time, so let me now go to our next speaker, Mr. Manoj Nair of TCPL, again, someone whom I know very, very well. Manoj is a packaging industry veteran. He holds a Master's of Business Administration and Operations and a graduate diploma in packaging from IIP. More than 25 years experience in operation management, and his functional expertise includes production operations with key focus on effectively utilizing resources, strategically placing the organization ahead of competitor by continuous development of manpower, product, and process. He is very skilled in evaluation of equipment, technology selection, capacity planning, process control, cost management, and quality assurance. And varied experience. He's worked as Vice President with operations with UFlex, and currently he's the Vice President Technical Development and HR for TCPL Packaging Limited, who are the country's leading and most innovative folding carton converters. So over to you, Manoj, for an expertise of what you see as happening in paper packaging trends, and what role GreenPro can play, and how do you view the emerging situation in the market here?
Thank you, Venki. I hope I'm audible properly. And,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, CII and Dhanarasu and Venki, and I've heard Jekyll also speaking about the whole packaging concept, and I really found it to be like I'm a bit happy about it, because Jekyll is a very strong spokesperson now. He's going to be for our kind of packaging, because now he's talking about getting back to paper. And yes, so I will briefly take you through a presentation, and then I will keep on explaining that as well. And is it visible now?
It is. So,
Yeah, okay.
Manoj, maybe you just need to be a bit closer to your mic.
I need to be a bit closer to my mic. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, so Venki, as you have already talked about, TCPL and TCPL Packaging is a well-known brand in paperboard based packaging, and now we are getting our foot with a strong hold in flexible packaging side, also with a bit of differentiated packaging, of course, which we are coming up with, which I'll come back. And as Jekyll was talking about, the kind of oceans are getting filled up with a lot of wastages and all, which is happening, and which is like in a very big sense, a lot of social in social platforms. It has been discussed, and it has been looked into by the new generation guys, and they take it very seriously. And I don't know, like, how many of you have watched Netflix documentary which is called Seaspiracy, and I strongly recommend that. It is directed by a guy called Ali Tabrizi, and there are surprising facts which comes out from Seaspiracy, and that is our 46% of our ocean pollution is because of fishing and fish nets, and then comes to the other form of the pollutions as well. But then packaging gets the limelight, because there are straws which are shown, and which is there on a turtle or sometimes on a tortoise, and which hardly contributes about 0.4% of sea pollution. But okay, we'll come back to that later on. But then as we're talking about sustainable packaging, so just brief about TCPL. We are one of the largest folding converters, and our turnover is more than 115 million. And we we are supplying in the segments of tobacco, liquor, consumer goods, and other food packaging industries. And promoter is from Kanoria family, and our group is led by Mr. Saket Kanoria, and his two sons are also there in regular business with us, and Akshay looks after offset side of the business, and Vidur is mainly into tobacco packaging and flexible packaging. So that's how we are working as this point of time, and we are geographically located in 4 different locations as far as plants are concerned, and as far offices are concerned, that too we have in all the major cities, and in the sense that the metro cities, I would say. And we are all-in-one packaging supplier. We have wide range which covers folding tobacco and flexible packaging, and our technical capabilities include offset, rotograver, flexible packaging facilities, and converting flexible packaging in carton finishing solution. We do all kind of surface finish possible options which is available in industry as of now. And in flexible packaging also, we do all the flexible packaging material, shrink sleeves, and we are coming up with some sustainable options, also recyclable options, I would say. And in point of innovations, yes, we do a lot of anti-counterfeiting solutions we come up with, and we have innovation team and who constantly works on these lines. As far as certifications is concerned, we have a list of certifications which starts from ISO 9001, 2015 to 14, 18, 22, and BRC and SEDEX, and these and then FSC chain of custody. So these certifications talks about that how we believe in work towards getting sustainability as a forefront, and we constantly work on getting these certifications and align our plants to meet the standards which is defined by these certifications, so that we are always up to date and aligned with the expectations which market has and the brand has. So mainly our products are, as I already told you, so I will not get into detail of this further. And some of our customers, the whole customer list is available, and we supply to Unilever as well, wherein we associated with Jikul many times on various projects. So some of our innovations, which is I talked about a bit in the sense that there is one very important was this antiquity gift pack, wherein we converted it into transfer metallized board, and we have taken out the layer of plastic film which was there on the pack. So this was one of the key development. Other than that, rest is related to the forms. And on surface coatings, we do various surface coatings, as Jikul was talking about, that people are coming into more and more. They are doing surface coatings rather than going with the lamination and all those options. So we do various these kind of options on the paperboard to give a feel to customer and who buys the consumer ultimately, and create the designs around this eye-catchy design, so that on the shelves and on the supermarkets, this product stands out. And we offer a lot of security features as well, which talk about like a few of them: hidden text, anti-copy, micro text, and alphanumeric coding, and QR codes. So these are the points also which we constantly do. A lot of people, they used to do all these QR codes and everything through label. And in many of the cases, we replace those labels with directly QR code as well as the random number code on the cartons. So ultimately, like bringing in a bit of sustainability point there as well. So we keep on offering these things. And other than hologram stamping and hologram pasting also, these are a few other things which we do. We do cast and cure also. And we do have a fiber foam board which is 3D formable, and it can take a very deep embossing, and it gives a very stunning visual effects. And it's a good marketing tool for the premium products, which we of course discuss with our customers, although we are into convert in a good commercial proposition, but then we keep on talking about it. This fiber foam applications there are many other applications which it gets into, and it helps in plastic replacement and reduction, and it gives feel as well as its sturdiness is as good as the plastic cups or trays. And as far as sustainability is concerned, as Dhanarasu has given few of the points around which we should work and we should talk about. So I have just worked out on those points. And first, possible measures from the RM procurement side. So RM procurement side, basically sustainability comes with business sustainability, social responsibility, and environment sustainability. So these 3 points basically gets covered in this. And in terms of business sustainability, it is all about cost reduction. So how do we reduce cost? We optimize the inventories, our purchase based on the order optimizing, and we do transportation optimizing, and which is efficiently done by our purchase team, and they do a weekly and monthly basis of monitoring of those parameters. So that's how we help in keeping the sustainability point up. And we buy from purchase, our major purchases are from the organization which focuses on prevention of air, water, land pollution, and they constantly engage in conservation of energy and resources. Like one of the company where he represents, it's ITC. So we really are proud to be associated with ITC, and we learn a lot whenever we interact with them. Yes, as rightly said by Venki, that these points are never valued much by converters, and that's because it's never valued much by the FMCG giants who are buying material from us. So it's probably a chain, and I think everyone now, big companies are also committing themselves on sustainability point. So I think these value additions, these kind of factors will get into convert into a value added propositions, and I think companies like ITC will get good benefit of that. And we will always support on those points. And on environmental sustainability also, we buy mostly from the organization who comply with land of law and regulations. So these are the things which we do. And then other than that, in sustainable board procurement points, we normally, our all suppliers are long-term suppliers. And we have, we interact a lot with them, not only we in the sense that our company MD also constantly interacts with them to understand that what kind of new improvements which these guys are bringing in. And we jointly take a lot of process improvement, product betterment, and on projects on that front. And that's how we constantly work with them. And price negotiations are part of this, wherein like our purchase team gets into. And in product standardization, like we interact on streamlining the specifications, as currently we are also working with ITC on a specific project of board, wherein we want to make a common board for all the cigarette packaging which we use. Currently we use 2 or 3 different category type of board, but then we want to bring it to one. So we are jointly working together on those kind of aspects, which is ultimately helping in the sustainability goals for them, because they will have less changeovers. And for us, we don't have to maintain all 2-3 different type of board with sizes. And then ultimately customer backs off at some point of time and we end up with wastages. So those kind of things we constantly work with the guys, and in the sense that on eliminating excess packaging, we constantly work. Like we used to get earlier boards from ITC as well as other board mills also in bundle form, which we have constantly requested, and it has changed. From ITC, we used to get first we used to get it from pallets. And we used to show it to other board mills also, from where we used to buy this recycled board, and gradually those guys also started putting in investment on those lines. But directly and indirectly, ITC led the way and others followed it. So it has been a great achievement, I would say, although people don't measure these steps which is taken, and we are not converting it in any kind of value terms. But then I'm sure when we convert in value terms of all these actions, it is going to be a sizable amount for sure. And we use quite a lot of recycled board in secondary packaging as well as non-food contact applications, because I was reading somewhere, that's what I have presented here, that from virgin to recycled board, the usage of water comes down close to about 40 to 60%, and solid waste also comes down by 40%. And similarly, the case of wood use, energy, and greenhouse gases also comes down by 40%. So that's what is the data says. So more and more recycled board wherein you don't have any direct food contact and secondary packaging, which is a sustainable way of introducing packaging and sticking to that. And in the manufacturing process, we do take a lot of steps in the manufacturing steps, and we constantly evaluate that, in the sense that we are always focused on reducing our energy and reducing material waste, because these are the two key parameters on improving sustainability in manufacturing. And critical monitoring process efficient all the time to saving time, optimal.
No, you'll have to close in another 5 minutes. You're slightly over.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So right input and right supplier to spend less time on make ready we do, and we do process quality monitoring, in the sense that we have 100% inspection system on our tobacco lines and flexible packaging units. So we are not doing rework and producing in one shot, and we are constantly monitoring all the consumables by an agenda of reduce, reuse, and recycle. And in our graveyard plant, we use the solvents which are used for washing the trays are recovered, and then we generate about 8,000 liters per month in terms of recovered solvent, which again we use it. So that's how we are working on that, and we promote constantly OGR coating, transfer metallization, water-based varnishes, and in production we are using IoT system to monitor the performance and of the lines, and we constantly replace our machineries to keep the optimum use of resources, which includes machine manpower and energy, and we support other causes as well. And for FMCG companies, we constantly we have a development cell in Mumbai, and wherein structural and graphic designers are there. So FMCG companies, they come up with the product. We design product around that, and then we give them option, and we give them option wherein like this weight to volume ratio also is being looked in by them. And many people go for exotic options, but then ultimately we take out on a layout also, and we show it to them that what kind of board usage would be there if you're going with certain kind of option. So these kind of things all together can be given in our head office, and that's how we constantly upgrade FMCG guys. Few of the measures which we have done is using of on packaging, packing material side, using of crates to recycle with Colgate, wherein all Ahmedabad supplies, Anand supplies goes in crate, and we get it back. Similarly with HUL Amli, we do it with plastic CFCs, and similarly with Godfrey Phillips India, we do we send all cigarette blanks to their Rabale factory through the plastic pallet, which gets recycled. So these are the things which we do. And then other than that, on the periodically we get our plants energy audit done by experts, and we use variable frequency drives. We have grid tied solar power system in our Silvassa plant, and conversion of LEDs and replacement of V-bills and additional smart AC savers for split AC. So all these measures, basically we save about 7% of your engineering budget due to these measure in one of our plant, which I'm talking about. So and the last slide which is there is of the 5-layer MBO plant, which we are coming up with in Silvassa with a flexible packaging plant, which will again promote recyclability and reduce multi-layer plastics. And this project is on a full swing, and I think by about November end or December, you will start seeing the products out of this. And there are films which can be easily recycled in PE stream, and granules which can be remade film, and we can use for non-food applications. So we will be going up with this project to all the FMCG giants, and let us see how it comes to in terms of the usage. So I hope, Venki, I'm on time, and thank you so much once again for the opportunity given to us. And sorry that Akshay could not join today because of some urgent, he got some urgency, and then because of that, and the area wherein he was traveling, I think, was having very low connectivity. So he told me to take this up, and then I tried to present whatever he wanted to actually communicate in this forum. And thank you so much to all of you.
Thanks, Manoj. So, your entire presentation, of course, you spend a little bit on your company and then you move to sustainability. So I was a bit worried as to when you'd get to that part. But later on, when you got to it, I suddenly realized towards the end that you do a lot of things within TCPL, from design to energy conservation measures and creating new forms of packaging, investing in design, okay, all those things. And you're not probably realizing the value for that from your brand owner. You somewhere very quickly mentioned that you would love to do these things if other people value it.
Yeah.
I think that's the before us in this group. And we are a material supplier, we are a printer converter, and there are brand owners whom probably, let's say, Jikul represents in this group.
Yeah.
For GreenPro to take off, I think we have to use the tool. And you can use the tool for some of the major SKUs with some of your major customers. I would love to do that project with you. We will invest in it. And if you have repeat customers and you want to evolve a kind of sustainability map with them as to what value this can bring in, which they can claim in their sustainability reporting, that would be the way to drive it. Of course, the interest from the brand owner is to be there, but the interest from the brand owner will be there if there's a tool or a platform that can be shared. And I think that's what GreenPro gives us. So thank you for bringing that up. So I think I saw a lot of opportunities through your presentation. Now, we of course come to the person and the team which has been anchoring GreenPro. So, GreenPro evolved at the Godrej Green Center here in Hyderabad and now moved from building materials, other industrial materials, and now packaging materials. So Dhanarasu, who represents the Green Business Center and has been supporting us in developing the GreenPro standard, is a postgraduate in energy engineering. He's working with the Godrej Green Center in its GreenPro Eco Labeling initiative, which was launched by CII in 2015. And it started with building products, like I told you. And his responsibilities include market research, development of eco labeling standard, facilitation of GreenPro Eco Label, and creating demand for Eco Label products. So Dhanarasu, the last one is what you have to do most seriously, creating demand for Eco Label products. So far, he has supported more than 55 companies to adopt GreenPro Eco Label for over 1,000 products. He is a Bureau of Energy Certified Manager, come Energy Auditor, and an IGBC accredited professional. Over to you, Dhanarasu, for tracing the evolution and the benefit that this standard can bring in the field of sustainable packaging.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Okay. So,
yeah.
So last
we can see a slide. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Last two speakers spoke about latest trends and what are the possible sustainability measures one can adopt during paper packaging manufacturing process. But I am going to share my views about how GreenPro enables the consumer to choose sustainable products. So, we started this initiative in the year 2015 to promote sustainable production and consumption in building and manufacturing sector. But initially, we started with a primary focus on building sector because we are able to create demand in building sector through a green buildings rating system, which has been given by Indian Green Building Council. So that is why we have so far we have been predominantly working on building sector to eco-label the products. So basically, GreenPro is a type 1 eco-label which follows a life cycle based evaluation framework for assessing the product. It identifies the environmental preferability of the product over same product in the particular product category, and also it identifies it sets threshold for product performance. For example, if one product should be considered for GreenPro certification, that should meet the minimum performance requirement which is set by GreenPro. For example, let us take air conditioner. For air conditioner, the COP is the performance parameter. So if the COP is on the lower side, that product will not be eligible for GreenPro certification. So this is how GreenPro assesses the product. And the primary objective of GreenPro eco-labeling scheme is to promote sustainable consumption and protection in India. So as you all aware, CII has been promoting sustainable practice in Indian industry through various initiatives, say green building rating system, green company rating system, and green factory rating system. So through those green rating system, we can also promote uptake of GreenPro certified products. So this eco-labeling concept can be applied to building materials, industrial products, technologies, consumer product, even it can be applied to service as well. Because this concept is being practiced in more than 70 countries, and there is a forum called Global Eco-Labeling Network, which advocates for type 1 eco-labeled product use across the world. CII represents India in a Global Eco-Labeling Network. We are part of GEN, and we are also part of board of directors in GEN. So in terms of approach, as I indicated, GreenPro is a life cycle based eco label. We assess the product based on life cycle approach on par with international standard. Because we have got some recognition from Global Eco Labeling Network, which is related to our standard development process and methodology that I will talk about later in the subsequent slide. So we will identify environmentally preferable products, because since this is a life cycle based evaluation framework, we will assess what is the greenness present in the every segment of product life cycle, say product raw material sourcing, manufacturing process, use phase, and end of life management. So in all aspects we will assess and we will avoid credit. And also, once we assess the product, we will also highlight the way forward to achieve excellence in normal performance. Generally, in our assessment report, the report will come with technical advice. So where we will recommend what are the measures the manufacturer can further implement to improve the environmental performance of the product. Also, we will work with manufacturer in terms of guiding their positioning their product as a green. So post certification, we will be having some discussion with their sales and marketing team, and also we will be educating them in terms of environmental sustainability and what are the information they have to convey when they are meeting environmentally conscious manufacturers. So those things we will be doing post certification. As I mentioned, we have received this recognition from Global Eco-Labeling Network, which is Genesis. It is a kind of peer review done by Global Eco-Labeling Network to assess the standard development process and rating methodology is being followed by the eco-labeling body. And they found GreenPro is in line with Genesis requirement, as well as they are at par with international approach. So they will, we have undergone this audit process, and there were 2 auditors from European countries. They assessed our standard development process and they gave this Genesis certification. So through this Genesis, since we are following international approach, so we can sign mutual recognition with the other type 1 eco label provider in the world. So as I indicated, more than 34 type 1 eco label provider in the world, including CII. So we have already signed MOU with Thailand Environment Institute, which offers type 1 eco label in India, to mutually recognize the eco labels of India and Thailand. So that means the product got GreenPro certification in India will be considered as a type 1 eco labeled product in Thailand as well. Similarly, there is a certification called Maikijau mark, which is run by Malaysian government. So they are also recognizing GreenPro as a tool to identify sustainable product, and they are awarding Maikijau mark, which is a mark of green product based on GreenPro certification. So 2 years back, we certified a product which got Maikijau mark in Malaysia because of GreenPro certification. So this kind of recognition from other countries creates export opportunities for Indian product manufacturers. And second recognition is from UN Environment, which is related to the certification methodology. So UN Environment has developed a case study on GreenPro based on 10 principles like reliability, relevancy, accuracy, collaboration, transparency. So they found GreenPro approach is in line with the UN Environment guidelines on providing product sustainability information. So these 2 recognitions brings a lot of credibility into GreenPro eco labeling scheme, as well as it gives a different perspective. This GreenPro eco labeling scheme is not only a national level scheme; it is par with international level eco labeling scheme. So so far, as indicated by our chairman, so far we have been working on building sector because we are able to create demand for building products through a green building rating system. So far we have certified more than 2,500 products, but most of the more than 95% of the products are building products. Remaining 5 products are related to technology, other some consumer products. But so we thought of developing eco-labeling for paper packaging products because as I mentioned, the CII is promoting sustainable practices in Indian industry through various initiatives, of which one initiative is GreenPro rating, which promotes sustainable operation in manufacturing unit. So far, more than 650 companies working on GreenPro rating, including FMGC companies. So they are all looking for environmentally sustainable products. So those companies are looking for eco-labeled products. So this was the reason behind developing an eco-label for paper packaging products. And then we approached Venkatraman sir, and we had a detailed discussion with them. We got a lot of input from them, and he was the one who led this initiative from the front, and he gave a lot of input in terms of technical aspect. So under his leadership, we developed this standard and we launched it during GreenPro Summit, as well as one more event which is organized by CII Western Region on Paper Packaging Expo. So this standard is right now, we launched pilot version. So this will undergo a lot of changes while piloting the eco-labeling scheme. Then we will make necessary changes. As far as eco-labeling framework concerned, we are following life cycle based evaluation framework that addresses entire, every stages of product life cycle. So here there are say 7 modules in the framework. It's a product design, performance, raw material, manufacturing process, waste management, product stewardship, and innovation. So we will be saying what exactly we are expecting from the manufacturer under each module. So the first module is product design module. So here, as a responsible manufacturer, they should have policies related to environment or sustainability or energy, so that they will have a certain commitments to reduce their environmental impact or energy intensity. So that is why we are encouraging under product design. So the manufacturer should have an eco-vision statement in the form of energy or environmental policy at organization level, so that they will be having a certain commitment, certain target in terms of reducing their environmental impacts, as well as energy intensity. That will lead to improving environmental sustainability as well as environmental performance of the product. And also the manufacturer should implement at least 2 or 3 strategies at product design stage as well as manufacturing stage, that will lead to improving product performance or reducing material requirement, or improving resource efficiency such as energy efficiency, water efficiency, or material conservation, or that should lead to reducing waste generation during manufacturing process. So these are the requirements under product design module. So that will fairly cover the product design aspect of the aspect. So the next module is product performance module. So here there are 3 criteria so that we are assessing. One is recyclability. So recyclability is the criteria which will define the end of life management of the product. So if the product is not recyclable, then it is very difficult to convert the product category into recycling economy, because if you want to really work on recycling economy, the product must be recyclable. So that is why we are encouraging the product manufacturer to design a product in such a way that it should be recyclable. The maximum amount of waste should be recycled. So here we will be assessing the product through TAPI method, and then the fiber yield should be greater than 90% for pre-consumer waste. It must be greater than 70% for post-consumer waste. And second criteria is lightweight criteria. This is also related to product performance of the paper packaging material. So here the intent is, if you improve the volume to weight ratio, you will reduce the raw material requirement, so that you can preserve valuable wooden products. So the intention is you have to increase volume to weight ratio on year-on-year basis, so that we will award credit. And also the product must meet the compostability as per ASTM 6A standard. Because even if ideally the product should be recycled to bring back in the same value chain if possible. Otherwise, it should not create any harm to environment if it is left to landfill. So that is the intention behind keeping criteria related to compostability. And third module is raw material module. So here also we are assessing the raw material part, which is paper board. So that must be either manufactured through recycled pulp, or it must be recycled. I mean, it must be manufactured through sustainable pulp. So that means the pulp should be made of either rapidly renewable material or the wood sourced from sustainably planted forest. So that is the requirement we are considering under sustainable paperboard credit. And next credit is prohibited substance. So we are encouraging the product manufacturer to limit the concentration of prohibited substances such as heavy metals, phthalates, and also we are encouraging them to use recyclable adhesives. Otherwise, that will affect the recyclability of the product. The third criteria is lamination and coating. So if you are using separable or biodegradable lamination and coating, it will increase the recyclability of the product. So that will not make the process complex during repulping. Otherwise, it will create a lot of complexity in the process. It requires advanced technology to recycle the products. So that is why we are encouraging them to use separable as well as biodegradable lamination and coatings, so that it will contribute to recyclability during post-life management. The fourth module is manufacturing process module. So this module is purely related to reducing energy intensity as well as emission intensity of the product. So we are encouraging the product manufacturer to increase energy efficiency based on the historical data. Maybe they can establish the baseline based on the historical data, and they can further implement energy conservation measures so that the energy intensity of the product will come down. As well as they have to work on reducing water consumption. So though the water is not used in process, but we are using water in domestic applications, in washrooms, or maybe in faucets, or maybe for gardening, other application, because of we are operating the manufacturing unit. So we also should work on reducing domestic water consumption, either by reusing rainwater collected at the facility, or maybe we can set up an on-site sewage treatment plant, and then we can treat the wastewater generated from the facility, and then we reuse for gardening or flushing application. So that will reduce the water demand for operating the plant. And also we are encouraging the product manufacturer to use renewable energy so that they can bring down the carbon intensity of the product. So since the converter segment is not the energy intensive one, they can go for either on-site renewable energy system, or maybe they can have a power purchase agreement with renewable energy provider, so that they can reduce their carbon intensity of the product. So the next module is waste management module. So here the manufacturer should have an inventory for hazardous and non-hazardous waste generation, and also they should apply 3R principle to reduce waste generation during manufacturing process. If there is no scope for reducing waste generation during manufacturing process, they should reuse they should reuse within the plant itself if possible. Otherwise, we should engage an external agency for recycling the waste generated at the plant. So that including process waste, other packaging material waste, and also some other hazardous hazardous waste like the containers of adhesives and containers of coatings, so that you are using. So those things, they should have a proper arrangement for collecting the waste as well as segregating and recycling through external agency. So here we will be assessing what is the waste management trend in the last 2 years. Accordingly, the credit will be awarded. So the next module is product stewardship module. So here there are 3 requirements. One is stakeholder education awareness program. So you should educate your downstream stakeholders so that the product will be utilized in a proper manner. Otherwise, we have to educate your downstream. Otherwise, it may lead to premature, and the defects during use phase, or maybe lack of knowledge about the product may leads to premature other things. So we should educate your downstream stakeholder as well as your consumer on green features of the product. Second criteria is we should have a comprehensive quality management system so that there won't be any product failure during dispatch, or there should not be any product failure after dispatch, because you have spent a lot of energy as well as material for making that product. If there is a failure after dispatch, or if there is a defect at user premises, then everything goes into landfill, or everything goes into again recycling process, or you need to spend additional amount of energy or efforts to rectify those defects. So that is why we are encouraging the manufacturer to institute a comprehensive quality management system, and we are recommending them to carry out product defect analysis and reduce the product failure rate over the period of time. So maybe you can have a you can analyze the trend, and you can establish a baseline based on historical data, and maybe you can further work on reducing those defects or failure rate if it is occurring. And third criteria is circular economy. So here maybe as part of extended producer responsibility, you may explore the possibility of instituting a mechanism for sending back post-consumer waste, because since paper is recyclable, but right now it is, I mean, predominantly we are recycling the paper packaging material, but still there is a scope for recycling paper packaging material if we have a proper network for taking the product back, I mean taking the packaging material back. So that is why we are encouraging the manufacturer to particularly the carton converters, to collaborate with the FMGC companies to institute a mechanism for product packaging material take back, so that it will be recycled in the same value chain. So coming to the benefits to the product manufacturer, it will be easier to convince environmentally conscious consumers, say person who is operating green factories, or who is applied for green company rating system, or companies with FMGC companies with sustainability commitment. So nowadays many sustainable FMGC companies are committing to sustainability improvement. So they are saying we will become plastic free, or we will there some companies are committing we will use 50% rapidly renewable material or recycled material. So those kind of commitments, companies with those kind of commitments, you may approach them, then you can easily convince them. And also it enhances the market reach with credible information and precise information on green features. So 2 years back, we certified a bag manufacturer from Kolkata. He got order from Spain, Leroy Merlin, who is the who is the biggest retailer in Spain. So they placed the order for buying bags because that product got GreenPro Eco labels. So when you are exporting to European countries or US, where the consumers are environmentally conscious, then you will get a lot of advantage. Your product will gain a lot of competitive edge when you have GreenPro Eco label. And third benefit is it facilitates resource consumption reduction during manufacturing process. Because in manufacturing process module, we are encouraging the manufacturer to improve energy efficiency, water efficiency, and as well as renewable energy utilization. Nowadays, renewable energy utilization is cost-effective one compared to consuming power from grid. So that will lead to lower energy cost or lower operating cost. So it makes you will get a lot of monetary benefits when you are adopting GreenPro Eco label. Obviously, it will differentiate the green product from the competition, because this eco labeling concept is being practiced in many countries, and this is well recognized across the world. So you can use GreenPro as a tool to differentiate the product from the competition. And also it facilitates meeting the international standards and norms related to environmental sustainability. For example, in paint manufacturers, so now only they are eliminating use of lead, but in GreenPro Eco labeling standard, which we launched in 2015. So that time itself, we told the manufacturer to remove use of lead, which is a carcinogenic substance that will affect the health and well-being of the occupants. So those things we are well in advance in the standard. If you are adopting GreenPro Eco labeling standard, so you obviously will meet the international standards related to environmental sustainability. So in terms of benefits to product user, obviously they are going to use improved, high performance products. So that is verified by a third party. And also they are going to use the product with low prohibited substance. So there won't be any health hazards while using the product. Suppose if the end user is going for green rating such as GreenPro or IGBC Green Factory rating, so they will get the credits in those rating system from IGBC as well as GreenPro. So for using GreenPro eco-labeled product, uh, of course, no due diligence required because it is verified by a third party. So finally, it gives an assured environmental performance for the product because it is completely verified by a third party through test reports, as well as we will be engaging an external assessors for assessing the product. So since it's a third party verification system, it gives a lot of credibility to this eco labeling scheme. So this is how I would like to conclude. So I'm sure GreenPro enables the consumer to identify sustainable paper packaging products, and also it creates win-win situation for packaging manufacturers and consumers. Because for the brand owners, they can leverage GreenPro eco label for positioning their product as a green product. For the product manufacturer, they will also get a lot of monetary benefits through reducing resource consumption, as well as they will get some monetary benefits monetary benefit in terms of enhancing the brand image. So finally, if you want to implement sustainable consumption in Indian industry, we must adopt eco-labeled products, because even there is a paper called the strategy paper on resource efficiency by Niti Aayog. So they are also talking about eco-labeling is the key to implement sustainable consumption and production in Indian industry. Thank you.
Right, thanks, Naruso. That was a very elaborate discussion on the scheme. Thank you very much for that and the benefits. So I'll begin with you. I hope we have time for a few questions. So Pratik has been reminding me of a chat, and I have mailed some questions over chat to Jikul and Manoj separately. So, but I will first start with the question to you, Dhanarasu.
Okay.
It's good, it's great. You gave examples, but now tell me, how are you going to implement it? If tomorrow Manoj wants to implement it,
Okay,
do you have to it? Is it a voluntary fill up? Will you implement for a unit? Will you implement for a package? How will you do that?
So, sir, initially we will work with paper packaging manufacturer. We will do hand holding. So we will guide them in terms of, we will offer technical surveys. So that will be the part of certification fee. Then we will guide them while adopting. I mean, what are the measures they have to further implement to demonstrate the compliance. And also we will also engage an external assessor for assessing the product, and he will also give a lot of recommendations for further improving the environmental sustainability, because we are not subject matter expert. So we will engage a subject matter expert to assess the product, and we will be with them in terms of hand holding, in terms of other except product performance and raw material. Remaining modules, we can support them in terms of technical advice as well as hand holding we can do. For product performance raw material, we are going to engage subject matter expert as an external assessor. So they will support them while implementing the measures required for achieving GreenPro eco label. Yes, sir.
So we'll come back to you, Manoj and me, with maybe two examples with two end users for two packaging that we want you to do. You better get ready.
Sure, sir.
Okay, I don't want to take time. I think we exceeded our time, but there are some questions. I have given the question to a chat to Jikul. Jikul, you can answer the questions and followed by Manoj.
So, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, there were three questions. One is on, what is the recycling rate of paper in the country? See, there are different data available, but up to 65% of the paper is actually recycled. Now, the point is not only that, but 65% is physically or actually getting recycled. Even if it is not getting recycled, the paper, the substrate is biodegradable, or that is where, even if it is there in the environment, it doesn't harm or it doesn't cause any other a negative impact is one area which is working very, very positive for the paper industry compared to other conventional material. Yeah. The second question was around saying that how many times the paper can be recycled. Now there are different papers available on this, but a very robust study which was done on printing paper, and which very clearly articulates that around 7 times the good quality printing paper can be recycled. Now, if you take this to the recycled board, which are popular in some of this part of the world, maybe it can extend the life further, and I'm sure it will go into the double digit. Yeah, and third one is like what barrier improvement. So I think different product needs different barriers. Gas barrier, aroma barrier, oil or a grease barrier, oxygen barrier. So right now I think a big focus is onto a short shelf life kind of an application, wherein some of this barrier solutions are already available. In next 5 to 10 years kind of an horizon, the industry is working on some of the high to ultra high barrier kind of an application with a paper chemistry, and that's where higher moisture barriers and higher oxygen barriers probably would be possible in next 5 to 10 years is what I believe. Yeah, so this were I think 3 questions which were there, and I hope I have done a justice
Thanks,
to them.
Jakul.
Thanks, Venki.
Yeah. So quickly, Manoj, I think you have your 4 questions. You can also just state and respond.
So the questions are like, okay, the first question was, can we recycle adhesive and lamination of paper packaging product? Of course, yes, it can be recycled. Adhesives of mostly adhesives are used, acrylic water-based adhesives, and which gets recycled along with paper. But if you're talking about lamination, lamination also gets recycled in the sense that we normally send it to the board mills, and wherein they have a mechanism in which they do the pulping and they take out the waste plastic material.
So I will answer that for you. So we permit up to some amount of waste paper, which we can handle in our pulpers and screening equipment.
Yeah.
And out throws, we don't like it beyond a certain limit, but yeah, it can be repulped. Some degree of fiber that we get. Yeah, go to the next.
And second question is, what is the concentration of hazardous substance such as heavy metals and phthalates in finished products? But then the whole point is we are converters, and we buy material from very reliable source with their certifications, and the brand also comes up with their requirement. So based on that, we purchase, we use, and we keep within that limit. But there is no hard and fast rule, and then it depends on a lot of processes, like the product is made through which process, or flexible packaging or offset printing and packaging and all. So everywhere it brings in a different kind of numbers. So you can't really give a right number to it. But then most of the packaging material which comes through flexible side as well as other side is, for flexible side, mostly used for direct food contact applications also, because polyethylenes are certified to be used as a direct food contact as well. And ultimately, it largely depends on the migration part. And in carton industry, people use a lot of recycled board, which normally has a bit of heavy metal content and all, but then they laminate it with polyester on the backside, or sometimes laminated with PE, and then they use for food products. So these kind of options are available, but then you can't really put a number to it. And the third question is, okay, what are the challenges in instituting packaging material take back? Oh, there are a lot of challenges which is there. The recent PWM rules are so confusing that only brand managers and producers are at the whole like receiving end, and the companies who are making these polygranules, they are out of it. So it's very strange. And then top of that, now government has come with the guideline, in the sense that earlier it was like you can use whatever material you are using in terms of plastic material in your flexible packaging companies, equivalent to that quantity you had to do the recycling. But now they are saying that if you are using a polyester or PE, you have to segregate that and you have to use it in that manner. So that is going to be a really challenging task. That's why the industry is looking forward to the mono-material structures. But still, if you go with mono-material structures also, when waste is collected together, until and unless it is differentiated at the user level itself, you can't really make a large differentiation. But companies are working on it, wherein like they are going for infrared cameras and all other kind of technologies to distinguish these material differences also. And I think as these guidelines are coming in, I'm sure people will find out ways and means of segregating that. If segregating happens properly, then taking back and everything becomes much easier. And other point is food grade packaging and non-food grade packaging. So basically in packaging, it should be by definition, if you go, it should not harm the consumer. That's what is like. It should be suitable for intended use, and it should not create any food safety hazard. So that's what is food safe. And in case of packaging, mostly these conditions are looked into when they design the pack, irrespective of it is for whatever purpose it may be. But then these criteria are looked after by the FMCGs and other companies as well.
Thanks, Manoj. I think we exceeded our time, but I had to permit you that. And I thank the organizers for the indulgence. All in all, a very lively, interesting, and great knowledge sharing session. Thanks to Jikul, Manoj, and Dhanarasu for the session, and to Pratik Khanna for organizing this. Thank you all. With that, I close the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for moderating the session.
Thank you, Venki. Thank you, Jikul.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
everyone. Bye, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Pratik, can we start or should we wait for a couple of minutes and then start the session?
I think we can start, Hemant. If you are fine, we can start. Has everybody joined?
Yes, first two speakers are already with us. One speaker will be joining late. Unfortunately, our session chair, his flight got delayed, so he'll be joining us late as well. So he's suggested us to carry on with the session, and he will join in between. So without further ado, let us start our next session. So this is a session 9 of GreenPro Summit. So the session is on innovative products and technologies for buildings and industries. Any new product or for that matter, any new solution, it involves a lot of innovation, and afterwards it becomes a mainstream solution. So that's how the cycle of any product or any solution works. This becomes an important parameter because innovation is very much required in this day and age, where many problems are not being solved due to conventional methods and conventional products. So in this session, we'll be focusing on such innovative products and technologies for buildings and industries. Without further ado, let us go into these innovative solutions. So we will be having 4 speakers with us, presenting on different technologies and their views on how these solutions can better help our infrastructure in improving it and making it more sustainable. So let me introduce our first speaker, Mr. Devendra Mishra. Mr. Devendra Mishra holds his degree in mechanical engineering and master's in business administration. He currently holds a position of country head India for Novenco Building and Industry. Novenco Building and Industry is a Denmark-based company and is right now in India also they have started their activity. Mr. Devendra has held several leadership positions in his professional career spanning out 20 years in the field of HVAC. He's an active member of ISHRE and ASHRE, and he will be presenting to us on energy efficient fans for HVAC systems. The floor is all yours, sir. Please start. Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah. Now I have started. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for introducing me. And thank you also for providing GreenPro certification for our product in India, in fact. And I'm glad to have this opportunity to present our product on this platform. So now I'm trying to share my screen. Hope my screen is shared now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So basically, Novenco is focused on energy saving in HVAC industry with our high efficiency Xerox fan. So Xerox is the fan model, which is very popular as of now, and also known as a EC Plus solution. In our this short presentation, we will try to focus how our solution is giving the highest power saving in the world and the factors that make our solution very efficient, supported with by few case studies, so that at least everyone will be get benefited for that. So basically, Novenco Building and Industry, we are totally focused in India as of now. So only this vertical is focused in India, and Novenco Building and Industry is a part of Chaco Group. So basically, these groups are based in Europe, and Novenco is one of their verticals in which we are considering your all industrial and building segments and car park ventilations. Then there is a second vertical, that is Snyder. So this is not Snyder India. This is based in Europe. So they are also specialized in laboratories ventilations. Then one more verticals is there, that is Riven. So they are into air cleaning into the kitchen systems. And then Serco, they are into the industrial tunnel ventilations. And Chaco, they are also into the public buildings and commercial buildings. So basically, this is a complete group. And as of now, we are representing in India as a Novenco Building and Industry. So basically, Novenco is very much focused on the energy saving and trying to give a major contribution for the world for carbon emission reduction and carbon footprint reduction, and also the power saving into that. So we move air for the greener and safer world. So this is our basic motive. And we also understand that the greenest what is not one is produced. So basically, whatever the energy saving we can do, that much contribution we can do for the world. And that is possible with our high efficiency Xerox fan. So basically, we provide the biggest energy saving in the ventilation worldwide. So as of now in the world, we are the highest energy saving solutions we are having that. So here you can see we have illustrated three different applications. One is the social media like Facebook, where we are doing their several projects from last 10 years. And we are supplying to their Sweden, US, and other factories. And one more illustration you can see here, that is the BMW plant where we have supplied our jet fans. And one more building in Burj Khalifa where we have supplied our car park ventilation system. So basically, if you will see the social media like Facebook and Apple, so these applications are very critical because they are storing several data centers and critical data, and they cannot accept any kind of breakdown. So because of the very critical applications, although there are several critical applications, but why I'm considering data centers, because as of now, they are facing a lot of use load on their data. So before considering our solutions, Facebook and Apple has gone through the several research and several testing in our factory, and they found that our product is having a life of 20 years minimum. And even in corrosion class C3, the life of our fan is 15 years. And construction of our fan, you can say, is a marine grade aluminum. So because of that, they have considered ourselves. One more is a zero downtime. So in our conditions, the breakdown is very minimal. In fact, you can say is less than 1%. And lowest environmental impact. So because of using our product and lowest carbon emissions and energy saving, the environmental impact is very low. Lowest cost of ownership, and low sound level and on-time delivery. So these are the few factors. Because of that, Facebook and Apple, they have considered our product for their critical applications. Now I will explain that what are the factors that make Novenco reach 92% efficiency. So basically, as of now, if you'll see from the several years in the HVAC industry, people are having fans like DIW fan and plug fan, but still they are struggling with the efficiency. However, the other components which you are using like controls and VFDs, so they have reached up to the 98% efficiency. So only the struggle point was there for the fan, and now that solution is also available. So to achieve this 92% efficiency, the construction of this blade is, you can see, is in aerofoil construction, is solid 3D angle. So these angles and these solid aerofoil give you the rotation of the air or into air stream in a very straight way. Then the tip clearance between the hub and the blade is very minimum. You can say it's a 2 mm. So whether the diameter of this fan is whether 180 mm or maybe it's a 2 meter, but we are maintaining the same. And this is possible because of the very precise machining of this machine. And because of this low minimum gap in between, you are able to achieve up to 300 mm of water gauge. So this is the very high static pressure, you can say. However, the axial flow fan or this kind of concept available is not having with such kinds of high pressure, you can say. And now this is the hub. You can see in a different construction or axial flow fan that the hubs are very flat, and because of that you are facing reverse actions, and there is a obstacle when the air is coming into it. But in this case, since it's aerofoil, the moment air is coming, immediately it's becoming the path of the air. So because of that, there is no resistance in that. And now there is a guide vanes. So we have given the guide vanes because any air moving through any fans, so they are having a tendency of rotation. So after the rotation, the air is becoming very turbulent. So to make it as minimum as turbulent, we are providing the guide vanes. So because of that, the uniform distribution of air is taking place. So you can see here that if you are considering this any plug fan and along with our fan, so in our fan you can use static as well as the dynamic pressure both. However, in plug fan you can use only static pressure. Fan efficiency in the highest plug fan is 70%. However, in your normal operating condition, you are not going to achieve more than 60 to 65%. However, in our case, the highest energy this fan efficiency is 92%, and you can get average 88% to 90%. So total saving is up to 50% by using static and dynamic pressure. So by using our fan, you can use static and dynamic pressure. However, in HVAC industry, the people are very much strict with the static because there was no option of using this dynamic pressure. But now that option is available. Now you can see here the air flow systematic in that the airflow is in a case of plug fan, there is a back pressure behind the motor. However, in the case of Novenco Xerox fan, the air is coming straight and going straight. So now you can say it's not laminar flow, but is trying to become as good as laminar flow. So earlier, the fan which was available with the DIW fan or plug fan, there was a lot of rotation and then it was going to the chamber. However, in our case, the fan section is not more than 450. So there is no much more turbulence, you can say, and it is straight and going straight. So there is a lot of system effect saving with our solution. So in consolidation, you can say that the fan is having 92% efficiency and energy saving with total is up to 50%, and return of investment. Suppose if you are going for the new HU in new air handling unit, so it will be approximately 1 year. And when you are going for the retrofit, then maybe it will be less than 2 years. Installation is very easy, low sound level, and 20 years is the life. So these are the major factors. Because of that, most of the people using these solutions now. Now the solution is very famous on the name of EC Plus. So in Indian market, we are selling our product on the name of EC Plus. So why is it EC Plus, and what are the different components you are using? So first component is Danfoss drive. So these drives are having 98% efficiency, and with our solutions, you can use FC101 or FC102. And because of the high efficiency Danfoss drive, you are able to achieve 98%. Then we are using Domel motor, that is a permanent magnet motor, and this motor is having an efficiency up to 95%. And with our fan, you can achieve 92% efficiency. So suppose if you are multiplying all these three factors, because in any industry, the power consumption is totally depend on that only. So you are able to achieve 85% system effect. So if you are considering the efficiency of the VFD, motor and fan consolidation, so you are getting the 85% system efficiency. That is the highest system efficiency in the world. However, the average industrial system efficiency is 50%, and the best available solution in India are worldwide, you are able to achieve 70%. Now I'm going to give you a few case studies, maybe which will be very easy for us to illustrate. This is the case study of the Indian JK Tire India, where we have committed the client for the 30% saving. So when we take the retrofit readings before the retrofit, so we have committed for the 30% as per the calculations. Earlier they were using 18.5 kilowatt, and now they're using 11 kilowatt motor. However, they have achieved 50% saving on that. So you can see here our fan is very compact. However, the DIW fan is having a very bulky space is required. You are going to make the edges compact. So there is a lot of other advantages also. Now we can explain you this second case study, that is the Capelway Tower. So this is the Singapore-based tower. And in this is the first building in Singapore who has achieved, which achieved zero energy building. So this is the first building in Singapore where we have achieved 47 to 49% energy saving in that. And we are very much happy to say that we are one of their solutions who has contributed to get this certification in Singapore. And even in this, you can see that when your AHU is in top discharge, so you can use our solutions, whether front discharge as in top discharge. So in both conditions, you are able to achieve this power saving in that. Now, this is one more case study from Carlsberg, Denmark. So here you can see we are using 2 fans, and we have replaced with a single fan. And again, our power saving is 43%. And carbon emission reduction has gone to 161 ton less. So by doing energy saving, by providing this, we are trying to support global for the low carbon emissions and power saving in that. These are the few customers in India. Actually, we have started our operation in India from last 2.5 years or 3 years. And in 3 years, we have tried to educate the people with our solutions. And now we have got few clients like C8, BKT, Unilever, DS Group, Bosch, Honda. So basically, you can see here all the segments are there, whether it's the pharma industry, whether it's the industrial industry, or tire industry, or food industry, and commercial building like Taj and ICICI Bank and PVR. So all the industries are adopting this technology, and they are getting benefited. And even we are very happy to say that we everywhere we have achieved minimum 40%, 45%, 50%, even 38% also. So we have achieved power saving in that range. And even in Zydus Cadila, we have achieved 24% to 34% power saving with the best solution available in India. Just I would like to say that beyond these EC Plus solutions, we are having some other product categories also. So these are our different categories when you are go with the spark-proof construction, because in pharma applications, people are very much worried about their API plants where they required spark-proof fan and flame-proof motor. So we are having that option also with our solutions. So that is called ATEX series. So we are having that options also. And we are having ATX for mushroom plants. So that is the series. Then we are having an axial flow fan for different applications like Xerox fan and axial flow fan for AZN. So you can achieve with our fan from 1200 CFM to 3 lakh CFM with the single fan. And you can achieve the static pressure or total pressure from 20 mm, or you can say 15 mm to up to 250 mm to 300 mm of water gauge. So there is a very wide range available with our product range. And after that, we are having a car park solution also. So as of now, we are not very much focused in India for the car park. It's a very initial stage for that. But yes, we are having a very good solutions. And in fact, in 1992, this was the company who has implicated these ductless solutions to the world. So this is the history of that. And beyond that, we are having a centrifugal fans, which is using in a different applications. And then we are having a smoke fans. So these are the few different our product range also available. as of now, we are very much focused on the EC plus solutions so that at least we can give more and more energy saving on that. And for our fan selections and anything, just you can go and click on Airbox and you can get these selectors on your laptop. Otherwise, you can do this downloading on your mobile also. So anywhere, suppose if you want to check how much power consumptions will come or how much saving you can do, so that is option is also available. So I think that is more than sufficient from my side because it's a small production. So thank you very much from my side. So any questions? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Devendra ji, for the wonderful presentation and for the innovative solution, which is doing more than 75% efficiency for, for more than conventional, it's giving a higher efficiency.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank
92%, yeah.
Yeah, 92% for the fan. For the overall system, it's 85%, right?
Yeah, 85%.
Yes, yes, wonderful, sir. So thank you, sir, for the presentation. We'll be taking the questions at the end when all the speakers are done with the presentation.
Okay.
So we'll be taking the questions then. So without further ado, let me introduce our next speaker, Ms. Raita Mochadla. She is a VP projects from Aquatron International. Raita is a wastewater entrepreneur, originally from Finland, but living in Hyderabad for the past 13 years. She has done her master's in South Asian and Business Studies from the University of Helsinki and Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen, UK. She has set up Aquatron-based ecological sewage treatment solutions in India with success across more than 30 locations over the past 3 years. The projects range from individual villas, layouts, schools, and offices to resorts, hospitals, factories, IT buildings, and many more. Raita is a certified pianist and a talented flute player in Western classical music. She's also a gifted artist on canvas. She has read and she can read and write 8 languages, including Hindi and Telugu, with high proficiency. Her future interests lie in bringing simple and ecological solutions to the daily challenges of water conservation and recovery in India. Now, she will be presenting on the topic of innovative sludge management, which is a product from Aquatron. So the floor is all yours, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Hemant, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be here at the IGBC events and especially at GreenPro, since we have had a GreenPro certification for Aquatron for the past 2 years or almost 3 years now. So let me just share my screen and then we can get on and see what Aquatron is all about. So as Hemant mentioned, Aquatron is about innovative sludge management. And now if we think about sludge and sewage, usually in all the regular conventional sewage treatment plants, we would be talking about treating the sludge where we have the solid matter and liquid matter mixed together. So we have an innovative solution to alleviate that, like because we have sludge, we would often need to bear with a lot of smell, and also the treatment will be very power intensive. So we need to use a lot of electricity to treat our sewage. But Aquatron brings a difference, a very welcome difference to this scenario, because we are going to separate the solid matter from the wastewater flow as soon as somebody flushes a toilet. So just a brief outline of what I'm going to be talking about. We'll take a look at a video of Aquatron and how it functions. And then we'll also see what is a typical flow diagram of a STP based on solid separation, where we use Aquatron as the first step. We'll compare Aquatron to conventional STP solutions, and we'll take a brief look at some case studies of installations that we have in India. And I also want to mention that Aquatron is in existence for more than 30 years in Sweden and elsewhere in Europe and also globally. But in India, we are doing solutions since the past 3 years or so. So let us take a look at the video. We have an animation.
Have you ever thought of how much easier wastewater treatment would be?
So I think that probably my computer audio is not audible. So what I'll do is I'll tell about the system while the video is playing. So our first starting point is that sewage treatment becomes much easier if we remove the solid matter from the wastewater flow. And now we are going to see how to do it. So we are going to meet our device, Aquatron. And now as soon as somebody flushes a toilet, our wastewater flow is going in the pipe with the solid and liquid, and it's coming into our Aquatron device. And here the momentum of the flushing water together with centrifugal force and gravity are used so that we get the solid in this biochamber below Aquatron, and the liquid is routed through a different outlet so that both solid and liquid are separated. So 98% of the liquid is separated in the first instance. And a little bit of water that goes together with the solid into the biochamber is drained out. We have a special filter mat on the bottom of our chamber where we drain out even the remaining 2% of water. And in very simple installations, we can take the water immediately through a UV unit, which will disinfect the water. In bigger installations, commercial installations, we would have a more comprehensive water treatment plant. And then we have a settling tank in all types of installations where we just settle any remaining suspended solids that might be there. And then we can use this liquid if we don't need to treat for PCB purposes, then this liquid is immediately reusable for gardening. It will be within the irrigation and land irrigation standards. And in some cases, we could even put it in a soak pit and let it go down into the ground. So now what are we going to do with the solid matter is the next question. You have seen that we are separating the solid into a chamber, which is called the biochamber. And here we actually have multiple chambers inside the biochamber. So in India, we might do it in civil. So we have 2 chambers. In the video, you are seeing a chamber with 4 compartments made of FRP. And now we are collecting solid in one of the compartments you have just seen. And okay, we are draining out our remaining liquids, as I told you. And now we are letting the chamber fill. So let's say it might take a few months to fill up one of the compartments. But this can also be made much longer if we build a bigger chamber and have less users. And one important thing to mention is that even though we are collecting fecal matter in the chamber, there's not going to be any smell near the system, because sewage smell actually comes when we are mixing liquid and solid. So there are many cases where we take people to see our installations, and then they are wondering where is the installation, because they expect that there will be smell. But even if they are standing next to this biochamber with all the fecal matter, they will not be able to know that this chamber has fecal matter because there is no smell. So, okay, now we have filled one compartment in the chamber, and we are using this FRP model in the video. So we are rotating the chamber. The rotation means that this full chamber is put aside, and again, an empty one is put underneath of Aquatron. And then what happens in the full chamber is that an aerobic decomposition process starts to take place. And once that starts to happen, the bacteria that is already there in the fecal matter is going to process the matter and convert it mostly into water vapor and carbon dioxide. So from the user point of view, it looks like as if that entire fecal matter is disappearing into thin air. And there's absolutely no human intervention. It happens only with the natural bacteria. And within a few weeks, depending on the weather, maybe even a few months, this entire volume of fecal matter comes down to about 5 to 10% of what we originally had in this chamber. And again, I stress that nothing was required from the user side. There's no electricity, no chemicals, no bacterial inoculum, nothing at all is required here. Nature is doing the entire job. And if we are looking to make the decomposition and the disappearance of the material even faster, we can add some normal earthworms. There are a few species of earthworms that can go into this chamber, and they are also very fast at processing the fecal matter. And again, the end result will be just a small quantity of clean, hygienic, powdered soil. There's not going to be any odor even there, and it'll look just like your regular manure that you would use, soil. Okay, so then we'll be able to use that soil if we want as a fertilizer in our garden. And now if we start to look at the benefits of having Aquatron, one is that this primary treatment, meaning that we are separating the solids, and basically in normal STPs, it would be sludge treatment. But in Aquatron, it is natural decomposing, natural composting. So for this stage of treatment, there's absolutely no power consumption with Aquatron. So it would be zero. And for conventional STPs, there would be considerable power consumption for all the sludge pumps and aeration and all these kinds of heavy equipment. Then another thing is that Aquatron doesn't have any moving parts, and it doesn't have any mechanical parts that could break down. So instead of very complex machinery, like I already mentioned, the sludge pumps and aerators that are used for a similar, to achieve the same goal as what we achieve with Aquatron, they have a lot of maintenance and they might break down and there will be high maintenance costs. But with Aquatron, it is not required. Also, because there are no chemicals and consumables, we don't have much of maintenance cost. So the STPs would be dependent on consumables as well, whereas Aquatron is not. And we don't have any downtime, and there are no odors near the STPs. We have some installations even in places like hospitals, and we have consultants visit the places and they are really astonished that usually they are not able to go anywhere near the hospital STP. But again, in our case, the STP is right in front of the hospital main door. It will be shown to you soon in my case study. And you can't really know that the STP is there because there's no smell at all. And then another major benefit is that with an Aquatron-based sewage treatment system, you will not need to hire an operator. The system will be so simple to operate that your regular maintenance staff will be able to take care of it. They might need maybe half an hour per day to check that everything is okay. But other than that, there's no major complicated process. And normally we also have some gray water to treat. So once we are removing the fecal matter, then even treating the gray water together with the separated water from Aquatron will be much easier. So then we see that Aquatron can be scaled up for any capacity. So the device itself is, let's say, about 2 feet by 2 feet in size, this separator part. And each device can handle up to 25 WCs. So, okay, if we have up to 25 WCs, we can use a single device. But if we start to have more than 25 WCs, then we just have to multiply the number of Aquatron units to match the number of WCs. So that's why we can do a lot of different types of installations, like you can see here, apartments, offices, hospitals, hotels, schools, restaurants, private residences, and almost any type of properties. And I would like to also mention that we are GreenPro certified, and Aquatron is also CE certified in Europe, which means that it is all health and safety compliant. Of course, it has a patent as well as technical approvals from European technical approval and Swedish technical approval. And also it has got recognition by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. In 2017, it got the first prize in a competition arranged by the ministry, and the category was early decomposition of fecal matter. So I think that is the main technical and operational points about Aquatron. And just to show you a diagram quickly, here you can see the same thing. We have our WC, the pipe goes into Aquatron, centrifugal force, gravity, and the momentum of the flushing water are taking care of the separation. We collect our fecal matter in a biochamber, and we take our water for further treatment as per requirement. And for most of the properties, PCB is a major concern. They have set standards for treating the wastewater. So if we see what is Aquatron capable of doing from the PCB point of view, like from the standards point of view, then let me just show you this one. Then we can see that without Aquatron, there's a parameter called BOD, biological oxygen demand, which is very important for PCB. And without Aquatron, in raw sewage, like flushing water only, without grey water, that BOD value might be about 150 mg per liter. Once we remove the fecal matter, the real results we are getting from field have been between 24 to 45 milligrams per liter. So that is a huge reduction in this important wastewater parameter without any power consumption and without any human intervention. The norm for PCB is 20 mg per liter. So only with Aquatron, we are already quite close to the PCB standard. And the extra treatment we need to do for PCB purposes is much lighter than for the conventional systems. So let me just return here. I wanted to show you just quickly a flowchart comparison of an STP based on Aquatron and a conventional STP. I won't go into the details of it, but just by looking at this slide, you can see that on the left side, we have the conventional system. And it has many more steps and many more parts for the water and sludge than what we have in our Aquatron-based system. So just to say briefly what we are doing, we have 3 streams of water coming in to the system. So the WC water, grey water, and then water from canteen, if there is any kitchen or canteen. So WC water we get into Aquatron, solids go into biochamber, and from biochamber we get compost, hygienic compost as an output. Then we combine the separated flushing water with grey water and the canteen water after we separate the oil and grease and any little trash that might be coming in that water. So then settling the water, and then we give ozonation as a treatment for the water so that we are able to reduce all the relevant wastewater parameters to the required standard. So that will reduce your smell and color, nitrogen, BOD, COD, and even bacterial content. Then it goes through PVDF, and this is a very fine ultrafiltration, a new technology as well. So here we filter out all the remaining suspended solids. Then finally, it goes through a UV as well. So both PVDF and UV also act as disinfectants and remove the last pathogens and other harmful microorganisms. And finally, we get everything into a treated water tank. And then you can reuse the water for reflushing or gardening, or you can let it out into the drain according to what is relevant for your property. And this is another representation of the same thing. We would have our Aquatron units. These units can be placed anywhere within 60 meters of your WC. So the placement is flexible in that way. In some cases, they might be in places like cellars, or we might make an underground pit to house the unit. and then we collect the water, and then we can take it to the STP location, which has the tanks and the STP equipment. In our case, it would be the ozone generator, filter feed pump, PVDF filter, and UV. Now, in some places, you might want to go even more natural, and then instead of that treatment equipment that I mentioned just now, you can use a reed bed. So reed bed means that it's a specially designed area where you have plants and some gravel, stones, protozoa, microbes, all specially designed. You have that to treat the water to the same standard. So here it needs a little bit more area, but again, power consumption and maintenance will be really minimal. And at the same time, this sewage treatment plant can serve as a landscaped area. So if you have a bigger campus or more landscape area, then reed bed would be a good option as well. And just a quick comparison between the capex of our aquatron-based system and regular conventional systems. Again, I won't go into the detail, but you can see that, for example, for a 50 KLD capacity, you can get an aquatron-based STP for about 16 lakhs. And the cheapest competitor would be about 23 lakhs. So it is at least 30% less than the other STPs, including the equipment and civil. And if we see the OPEX, then for the same 50 KLD capacity, the annual amount would be about 2 lakhs with our system. And again, the cheapest competitor has about 6 lakhs annual operating expense. So it is about 65% less than the other conventional systems. And as we already mentioned, we've had installations since about 3 years in India. And here are a few of our clients. Again, some industries like Sun Pharma and Godavari Power, Triton Valves. And then we are doing for developers as well, Suraksha Smart City near Pasai. Then Organo Architects in Hyderabad, making all eco-friendly layouts. And then we have some architects and individual customers, as mentioned on the slide. So then just quickly, we'll go through a few brief case studies.
Raita, could you complete the presentation in a couple of minutes at the
Yes,
time
yes.
you're exceeding?
Yeah, it'll be done. We are almost there. So just this is the hospital I mentioned, where we have actually our STP right in front of the door. They didn't have any space, so we had to be creative. And if you can see this blue shed on the right, that is our water treatment plant, and our aquatron and the chambers and tanks are right underground next to the shed. So the drawing here shows how the aquatron units and our tanks are positioned. And then the construction pictures also show the same. So this is, I selected this case study just to show that even in places with very minimal space and all constraints with space, we can do proper systems. And then there is Admirus Biosciences. This is also in Hyderabad. And here, this is for about 200 people. There are resident research subjects there. So here we have 2 aquatron units and a reed bed. And with the reed bed, the operating cost for this 21 KLD is about 500 rupees per month. It's just a single pump. Okay. And then an example of a bigger project. This is Sandhya Elite IT Towers in Gachibowli. So here we have 10 floors building, and we have multiple aquatron units in their basements. And then we have all the water treatment tanks also in the lowest basement. And we are going to use the water for chillers and flushing here. Okay, another installation where space was a major constraint. They only had a very narrow space behind the school building, and they didn't want to have the water treatment equipment on the ground floor because school children would come and potentially cause some risky situations. So we have kept our aquatron units underground in the narrow space they had, and we are lifting the separated water onto the rooftop. because of the customer's requirement. Then we can do installations even for individual homes, wherever there is no municipal power connection, sewer connection. And finally, just one case study from abroad to show that Aquatron is favored even by or like model kind of ecological buildings. This is the Moonstone project in the UK. They have also made a very nice video where they show how they're treating the sewage with Aquatron and the reed bed. They get the water in drinking water standard from their natural reed bed. So just in summary, we can use Aquatron from single user to thousands of users. And the biochamber we need for composting will not be too big. 1200 liters for about 40 to 50 people in residential use, or the same capacity will serve 200 people in non-residential. And Aquatron is very durable. It will be there for you for at least 50 years because it's made of this recyclable polyethylene and glass reinforced polyester. And also flexible placement and options for biochamber construction are important from a user point of view. So since we are running out of time, I think I won't read out this summary anymore. But I thank you everybody for your attention and look forward to any questions after the session.
Thank you, Raita, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you for showing how simple physics can be utilized in solving complex problems. So this is one prime example where using only gravity and centrifugal force, we can solve the problem of the wastewater that we generate. So thank you for showing this. Now, without further ado, let us move on to our next speaker, Mr. Manish Barod from TechFab India Industries Limited.
Yeah.
Mr. Manish is a geotechnical engineer with a proven track record and diversified experience of over 30 years in civil engineering projects, especially geotechnical engineering, designs, techno-marketing, and business development activities. He has started his career in geotechnical field as design engineer and has worked at various countries, both India and abroad. And also across his career, he has worked on various infrastructure projects, majorly focused on retaining structures like reinforced soil walls and slopes, ground improvement, pavement stabilization, pavement improvements, riverbank protection works, etc. He's currently heading technical sales and business development team in TechFab India Industries Limited. TechFab is one of India's largest manufacturer of geosynthetic products in India, with the roads, railways, and infrastructure as focus areas. So he'll be presenting on geosynthetics, a life-enhancing solution as a topic. So over to you, Mr. Manish.
Yeah. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir. We are able to hear.
Yeah, I will share my screen. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. You may start the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome everyone. Without wasting time, I will start my presentation. So TechFab India is started in the year of 2003 with a dream to give India world-class geosynthetic products with indigenous manufacturing facility under one roof. Now, at present, today we manufacture a wide range of geosynthetic products in our 6 factories located in Silvassa and Daman, which is 180 kilometers from Mumbai headquarters near Gujarat. So, as here the audience is maybe different from the infrastructure projects, I just want to tell about what is geosynthetic. Geosynthetic is the generic term, and there are a number of different products come into the geosynthetic family. A planar product, 2D or 3D, manufactured from polymeric material used with soil, rock, earth, and other geotechnical engineering related material as an integral part of a man-made project, structure, or a system. So, main function of this product is separation, filtration, drainage, reinforcement, and barrier in civil engineering applications. So, our principal geosynthetic product are TechFab PET GeoGrid, PP Biaxial GeoGrid, Fiberglass GeoGrid, TechPav, TechGeo, and various type of woven geotextile, GeoCell, Then we have a TechDrain PVD. These are all our product range, which can be used for infrastructure projects. Our product conform to Ministry of Roads and Transport Highway, European codes, IRC, Indian Road Congress, and our products are as per the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. Also, our in-house laboratory, our in-house factories are certified from various quality accreditation institute like Bureau Veritas and National Accreditation Board of Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Our all products are GreenPro certified. We have more than 15 products in our portfolio, and all are certified with the GreenPro product service. So our products market sector is ports and marine, power and mines and heavy industries, waste management, real estate, transportation, water resource and irrigation. It's a very vast use of our product. So not going too deep into all sectors, I just today focusing on highway sectors. Application sector of main transportation, highways, airports, railways, and soil heating structures are the main sectors for our product. Where if talking about the highways, it will useful for ground improvement, subgrade separation, stabilization, reinforce of granular base, subbase, bituminous pavement and overlays, and subbase drainage and erosion control. So today we are focusing on national highways. Available standard for these geosynthetic products are MORTS 700, IRC 37, IRC SP 15, 59. These are the so many standards are available to use the geosynthetic in any pavement or related projects. So why to use geosynthetic in the road? So construction related carbon emissions in highways are very high. The length of national highways is all set to increase at a fast pace. This implies a huge construction works in the sector, which has implications for low carbon growth, as a construction of highways generates CO2 emissions from activities like movement of materials, manpower, fuel consumption at site, material consumption, etc. It is estimated that every lane kilometer of national highway constructed generates around CO2 emission to the tune of 24 to 30 ton per year. And just to inform you about the pace of highways construction in present scenario is touch a record breaking of around 37 kilometers per day in financial year 2020 and 21, which is very less in last 5 years. So government has increased the year-on-year infrastructure capex by 30%, and government has planned to build a road of worth 50 lakh crore over next 2 years, which aim to construct a 60,000 kilometer of road by 2025 at a speed of 40 kilometers per day. So you can imagine there is a huge scope to reduce these emissions by deploying a low carbon measures in the construction of national highways by using innovative solution to construct pavement. So here I am going to give you 2 examples that how we can use geosynthetic and reduce the carbon emission. Use of advanced materials like geosynthetic in road work to reduce the carbon emissions. So geosynthetic materials significantly reduce carbon emission or equivalent greenhouse emission by following ways. First of all, by reducing the raw materials like gravels, bituminous, sand. Yes, you can reduce the use of gravel, bituminous, and sand by using the geosynthetic. By reducing the transport of raw materials to construct site. I will show you in the coming slide that how much you can save on the conventional raw materials on a construction site by minimizing the use of building machines, including construction requirements. So advantage of use of geosynthetic in highway construction. The key advantage of geosynthetics are as below. Geosynthetic in road construction can help to reduce the requirement of excavating and transporting the good soil and can help increase the pavement life, which can indirectly reduce the CO2 emission from road construction. Use of geosynthetic can result in increased service life of flexible pavement, increase the speed of construction due to quick installation, and increase the possibility of construction to be completed in a very shorter period. According to study, cost saving up to 10 to 25% have been achieved for the construction of new road using geosynthetic as compared to a road construction without geosynthetic. And it is also observed that in some cases where near the coastal area where poor soil properties are there, very ground is very soft, in that case, the cost saving is increased up to 35 to 40% also. Saving in CO2, the greenhouse gas emission of 1 kilometer road constructed without the use of geosynthetic is 730 tons CO2 and 552 CO2 example for the that is constructed with the use of geosynthetic. Means you can see 25 to 30% reduction in CO2 emission. Status of use during the last decade, there has been increase in the use of geotextiles for road construction in North America. The Indian engineers are still getting acquainted with the use of geotextile. So in India also, slowly the pace is actually increased and people are start using the geosynthetic, and our government is also now promoting the use of geosynthetic by their various guidelines and various model provisions. IRC has published various guidelines for design and use of geosynthetic in pavement, and MORT has published specification in the highway manual, which describe the specification of construction aspects and designs. So just giving one example of base subbase stabilization with use of geosynthetic product called PP biaxial geogrid. This is the PP biaxial geogrid having a 38 by 38 mm size of grid, which will interlock the GSB material, granular material of the pavement, and which will enhance the performance of the pavement, and ultimately we can reduce the quantity of GSB material. So I am giving example here that this is a conventional road section with 190 mm thickness of BCDBM, base thickness of 250 and sub base. So you can reduce the base thickness by using this PP biaxial geogrid to, suppose in this case it is a 90 mm, around 100 mm. So 100 mm of GSB material, granular material, for one lane of 1 kilometer, one lane is just 3.75 kilometer approximate. So you can consider as a 4 kilometer. So one truckload of geosynthetic around 4,000 kilometer if you are using. So you can save approximately 30 truckload of that GSB material. Means it is a very huge saving. You can understand that the consumption of diesel, consumption of natural resource of GSB, consumption of blasting of that GSB, everything can be reduced by tremendously. So one truckload of geosynthetic for a 4,000 square meter can replace 30 truckload of the GSB material. So this is the fact, and it started using from last couple of years. Similarly, another product is a geosynthetic solution with the drainage composite, which can be used for a conventional 600 mm gravel layer, can be replaced with the geotextile drainage composite. So how it works? So behind any impermeable zone, and suppose there is a structure behind the retaining structures where you have to provide the arrangement for the drainage arrangement. So earlier it was like that. The traditional system is use of 600 mm thickness of the granular material, gravel. Now this can be easily replaced with the tech drain called a drainage composite, which is only 5 mm thick layer, and you can again save the tremendous quantity of the gravel on site. So you just can similarities, aggregates and geosynthetic. Difference is if thickness is higher in case of 150 mm and greater. Here the thickness can be low, less than 30 mm. Porosity of granular layer 25 to 40. Here porosity is 75 to 90%. So efficiency of the product also increase for a drainage purpose. Then capillary rise, important, low to none. So similarly, these are the differences where geosynthetic can be proved very well compared to the conventional system. So here again, a conventional filter using gravel and geosynthetic filter, again, one comparison is given that use of gravel here is a 0.69 ton per meter square for case 1, while in case 2, in geosynthetic, there is no need of any gravel. Geosynthetic layer only 1 meter square. Diesel using or building material for producing the geosynthetic and gravel is a 2 mj per meter square. Here it is a 1.04. Similarly, transport lorry, you can see kilometer per meter square requirement is 34.5. That in second case, it is 0.035. So overall, geosynthetic can be very much benefited in case of natural resources. The filter with geosynthetic causes less than 25% of the impact of conventional gravel-based filter. The non-renewable energy, cumulative energy demand of the construction of 1 square meter filter with a lifetime of 30 years is 131 in case of a conventional, while it is only 19 in case of a geosynthetic, means almost 7 times lower. Similarly, the cumulative greenhouse gas emissions amount is 7.8 kg in case of conventional, while in case of geosynthetic, it is only 0.81, which is around almost 10 times lower. So here again, it is a contribution analysis of GeoGrid is given that the life cycle of includes the provision and use of raw material, working material, energy carriers, infrastructure and disposal process, land occupied to produce, means everything is considered during the analysis of the GeoGrid and conventional. Water consumption is also included in the consideration. So if we compare a road enforced with geosynthetic to a road stabilized with cement or lime, the climate change impact of a class 3 road enforced with geosynthetic is about 300 ton per kilometer lower compared to the impact of road class 3 stabilized with cement or lime. The difference is equal to about 30% of the overall global warming impact of the construction and disposal efforts of an entire road during the 30 years of lifetime. So the difference is equal to about 84% of the overall climate change impact of the construction and disposal, considering 100 years of life cycle. So other major geosynthetic applications in road payments where we can save natural resources and reduce the carbon emissions are. So these are the different payment applications where you can go instead of conventional, you can go for the geosynthetic application. Subgrade separation and stabilization, ground improvement of road embankment, subsurface drainage in pavements, base sub-base stabilization, overlay stress absorption, and surface erosion control. So these are just photograph of the applications. Non-woven geotextile separation layer with the help of, this is the photograph, below the photograph is of the Vadodara-Mumbai Expressway, where they have used the separation layer instead of the sand. Earlier, it was the trend that separation layer, you can use the sand layer, but here now it is replaced with the non-woven geotextile. So this is the photograph of Vadodara-Kim Expressway or the part of Vadodara-Mumbai Expressway. Then ground improvement, again, without geocell reinforcement, with geocell reinforcement, there is a difference. So geocell is a product, 3-dimensional product, which can decrease the requirement of natural resources by using geocell, as it confines the product and give the strength. So this is the ground improvement using geocell at centralized parking at JNPT area of Navi Mumbai. It's Jawaharlal Nehru Port, where huge quantity of geocell is used in the coastal areas. Again, for one of the Maharashtra project, strengthening and improvement of major district road. Then already I saw this product for that case study. This is again a new Amravati Development Corporation project of Amravati in Andhra Pradesh. They have again used this product. Then drainage composite, as for horizontal drain also this product is used. Earlier I have shown you the vertical drain behind the retaining wall. So this is the drainage composite project in Agartala, Udaipur Road in Tripura. This is in Manipur. Then slope erosion control with the geocell. You can see vegetation soil can be used as a geocell. Then concrete or gravel also can be filled with the geocell. So earlier, if you are not going with geocell, then the thickness of this slope erosion control protection is more than 450 mm, 600 mm, like that. But you can replace this with only 75 mm thick geocell. So only 25% material can be utilized instead of 100 mm. You can reduce by 75% of the conventional material. So this is the project with the geocell and vegetative soil in Gujarat. So I conclude my presentation here that with the geosynthetic solutions are technically superior and economical compared to the conventional in road construction. These geosynthetic material complied with the initiative of MORTH and NHI towards the minimizing use of natural resources and reduce the carbon footprint. The design methodologies and material specifications are included in the codal provision as already specified. And TechFab India is complying to the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and completely our all products are manufactured in India with the raw materials. And it is under a Make in India initiative of Government of India. We are highest manufacturing capacities in order to supply huge quantities in short period of time as per the project requirement. Our all manufacturing units are ISO 9001:2015. Engineering and techno-commercial assistance to all stakeholders right from the inception of project to its completion to maximize their project returns. So thank you very much. Hope you got the presentation and hear completely. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, Mr. Manish, for the presentation, and thank you for introducing what geosynthetics can be used for and how they can reduce the carbon footprint in major highway projects or any other infrastructure projects, how they can be utilized, and also the wonderful case studies that you have shown us, where practically you have demonstrated the utilization and various different projects where they could be further utilized, and also in terms of overall resource consumption, how they can be very much effective. So thank you for that. We will be taking questions later after Mr. Manish Dikshit's presentation. Without further ado, let me introduce our next speaker, Mr. Manish Dikshit. You can stop sharing, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Manish H. Dikshit, CEO of Eden Innovations India Private Limited. Mr. Manish did his post-graduation in applied physics from Faculty of Technology and Engineering, Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. He is a gold medalist of 1994 batch. He worked as scientist in Physical Research Laboratory, a unit undertaken by Department of Space, Government of India up to 1999. During his tenure, he has participated in several scientific expeditions and has many papers in international and national journals published to his name. He then worked with a public limited company in Ahmedabad for its business related to the use of specialty gases and calibration gas mixtures, and has developed various new products during his time there. He has joined Eden Innovations India Private Limited as a CEO in 2008. In his current position as CEO, he manages the overall operations of innovative products and solutions such as hydrogen fuels, optiblend kits, Eden grid admixtures, etc. So he will be presenting on latest trends in clean energy and fuel technology. The floor is all yours, sir. Hello, we are unable to hear you, sir. Sir, we are unable to hear you. Can you change the...
Is this audible now?
Yes, now it's audible, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me upload my screen there. Okay. Fine, sir. Are you able to see the screen, sir?
Yes, you can make it.
Thank you very much. So it was nice to hear all the previous speaker, and I understand I am the last speaker for the session. So everybody must be tired. But in fact, I was interested to speak on two different things. The number one was on this OptiBlend kit system. This OptiBlend kit system is basically a dual fuel kit that can get fitted to any diesel genset. But before I come onto the product, let me tell you something about our company. What Eden does is Eden works on 3 verticals in India. But before I talk about the product, let me introduce my company. We have a sister concern company in the US, and both Indian operations and US operations are 100% subsidiary of Eden Innovations Limited, Australia. The products that we deal into the country was hydrogen fuel, which is a blend of hydrogen plus methane. So we add hydrogen in natural gas, and a blend of hydrogen natural gas is used with the Indian vehicles to reduce emissions and increase efficiency of the vehicle. The second vertical is OptiBlend kit system, which I'm going to pitch a little in few seconds. And the third one is on Eden Crit. Eden Crit is a carbon nanotube based admixture that can be added to the concrete, and you can increase the strength of your concrete or you can also reduce the amount of cement to be used there and add other fly ash like fly ash or GGBS and attain your required strength. Right now, I'm going to speak with the OptiBlend kit system. An OptiBlend kit system can get fitted to any 4-stroke diesel engine, whether it's a Cummins, Caterpillar, Volvo, Perkins, no problem. It should be a 4-stroke engine working at 1500 RPM speed. Now, we come from a country where our great leaders and many of people like me would find Kalam as their hero. If his regrets are that he could not provide 24/7 electricity to his parents, there would be many more places you would agree that people run diesel genset as a backup power. Now, whenever I run a diesel genset as a backup power, the cost of power goes significantly higher. And with the today's cost of diesel around 90 rupees, the cost of power is significantly higher. So we look forward to what are the alternate ways in reducing my power cost. So given the options, I have wind power, solar power, or use biofuels. And then the last option is to go and adapt to a gas engines, which are using gas, which is priced at only 35 rupees a cubic meter. If you look into the first two options, which are natural occurring and not under your control, for an industrial house, if I have everything ready today for a shipment, but unfortunately it's a cloudy day and there are so much clouds, you do not get enough solar energy, so I can't do the packaging, and therefore I cannot load my materials out for the dispatch. And that is not what the industry looks into. The industry wants something which is under their control. They can produce their power whenever required and they can do their jobs. So the first two options are natural occurring phenomena, not under our control. So they are not very reliable for an industrial house. The third option being the biofuels, but biofuels has very low calorific value per unit volume. So that does not stand a very good chance. But the other effect is also like it is seasonal. You don't get this continuously throughout the year, 365 days. So that does not also serve the purpose. So going with my last option was, okay, why don't I use a gas engine, which has a pretty cheap gas cost? But think of it, 95% of the people in this country already owns diesel engine. Diesel genset has been there far and wide for many, many years. What to do with the existing diesel engine? If I go and buy a new gas engine, I have to put almost 200 to 300 times 300% higher capital cost. Talk of 1 megawatt gas engine, it would cost you around 3 crore rupees. And people must be already holding their diesel engine. So what we suggest is, instead of going for a new gas engine, use a dual fuel technology. What would it do? It would enable you to use the cheap alternate fuel available currently in the market. The solutions are very immediate because you already own a diesel engine. Bringing down kit and doing the installation hardly takes you a week to 7 to 10 days. Cost savings are dramatic because the gas cost is 35, diesel is at 90 rupees. If I can replace 50% or 70% of my diesel by gas, I save a significant amount of my cost. And what is more important to see is we are using the same infrastructure, manpower, and space. I don't need extra space. The same diesel genset is working here. Now, if I have an unskilled labor who is operating my generator, he would not be very happy if you get to a very hi-fi kind of gas engine with full automation and switch and all of this. He is very confused. What should I press first? What next? How do I do the service? How do I open this? And he is confused. He is not very comfortable. But since I'm using the same diesel genset, which is operating for last so many years, it becomes very, very easy for the unskilled labor to work on the same site. He does the job as per the boss instruction, keeps doing services, maintenance, cleaning of oil, filters, and everything. But the good thing here is I don't need any skilled labors for this particular project. Space is we can fit into the same canopy. Then extra space of 2 feet by 3 feet for the PLC is required, and I'll show you practical pictures in a little while from now. Extremely low risk of power deprivation. The backup power is always the diesel fuel. Suppose you are not getting gas tomorrow under some accident, some kind of terrorist attack, some kind of maintenance service, something, and there is no gas coming to you. You are not deprived of your power. You can, during those days, those hours, you can go back and run with the power operations using 100% diesel like you are running today. But when you have the gas and you are running this on dual fuel, you reduce significant amount of NOx and CO2. And that comes as a bonus to you. The economy plays by itself because diesel is priced so high, gas is so cheap. You are running this for the economy thing, but this is an additional bonus you get in terms of reduction in NOx and CO2. And mind you, sir, products are very, very attracted by the features of saying that I have a GreenPro product. If I'm a biscuit company and put a product new to the market and I put a green dot, say that we use green power, people would like and go and buy my biscuit because they think, okay, he's using green power. The awareness of environmental things are coming up globally everywhere for everything. Okay, so what I wanted to share here is, I'll show you some practical pictures. So let me save some time here. What can you achieve when I put down this kit? What I achieve is I can displace between 50 to 70% of your diesel using natural gas. It's not only that we have to use piped natural gas or something. Even if you have some waste gas, some syngas from your processes, we can still use this. But the displacement would be subject to the calorific value of your alternate fuel. No internal engine modifications are required. That means no OEM should be offended. We don't do any change. We don't change the combustion process. We don't do any alteration to the engine. And therefore, you can do anytime, any place, any engine, you can do this conversion. And I'll tell you what we do in the subsequent slides. There is no derating on the engine. We have a technology. We have seen in the past, people have on the dual fuel kit, there was a reduction in power output. But in our technology, we have superseded this and we do not have any derating on the engine. And the reason also I'll explain in the subsequent slide. For any applications where there are jerk loads or block loads, can I still use this? The answer is yes. The response time in our case is in the order of milliseconds. So every second we do 1000 times air fuel ratio integration. Any changing engine conditions can be managed very easily through our systems. And we have done this practically with Cummins for almost 3 hours trials in the US. And we were very, very successful. And therefore Cummins in the US used our product for their own customers in the drilling rig sites and other applications. In the worst case, if the gas does not come, it goes back to 100% diesel operation, and you do not have to run around to open, close valve, do anything, nothing. It goes automatically, and so you are at your ease, sit in your chamber, do your work. It will go automatically, and you still get your power. Since the whole system is controlled through a PLC, and the PLC would vary the throttle positioning based on your load patterns and other inputs that we read. And I'll show you how it does. But before I go to this, I am sure somebody would think, oh, why don't I go and use a gas engine? Because gas is pretty cheap, 35 rupees. Why should I use a diesel genset, which will still consume some amount of diesel? Yes, with 35 rupees gas cost, my operating cost will certainly reduce. But what is going to add more is this, higher capex. You are now going to maintain 2 elephants, a black and a white elephant. You already have a diesel engine, now you're buying a gas engine. So you need 2 space, you need higher maintenance cost, you need skilled laborers, spares are costly, and maintaining these 2 would be very, very difficult. Therefore, going to a dual fuel option is a better option. So for a customer who owes 4 or 5 different ratings of genset, so I hold say 500 kVA, 1000 kVA, 1500 kVA, 2000 kVA for different processes in my company, and I want to spend only one for my first trial. Where do I use this? To answer that question, I had made this slide to show to you that you see here on this minus y-axis is my capital cost at the beginning of any installation. So if I put a little higher capital cost, but you see in a span of 12 months, what is my saving here? As compared to my little capital cost with my little saving here. Whenever it hits this 0 axis, you are out of your payback. So your payback at all period of time is less than a year's period. You can see anywhere. And this is considering 90 rupees per liter of diesel and 37 rupees per SCM of gas. In some parts of India, the SCM of gas is around 32 or 28 also. And the diesel cost has increased now to 95 also. But this is on the basis of 4 hours running per day at 80% engine load. So when the load varies, the saving would also vary, but this is just an idea. And I'll show you how it changes with the different loads. So for a same engine, say 1000 kVA engine with the same fuel cost, what's my saving change? You see, as my load increased from 50 to 65 to 80 to 90, my savings kept on increasing. Beyond the sweet spot, I had more gas than that of diesel. Sorry, I had more diesel than that of gas. And therefore, my savings had dropped here, but I'm not getting any derating on the engine. That derating is because of some manual valves which are used. This supersedes those applications. We have a fully controlled electronic system, and that would not enable you to allow a constant value of gas to go in. It keeps on changing the amount of gas based on your engine load parameters. We read the engine loads and based on those readings through the PLC, the throttle position is varied. So in terms of economics is okay. What about my greenhouse gas reduction? So you can see here, if I run an engine with 100% diesel, the same engine when run on dual fuel, you save something like 40 to 60% on different loads. So I have given you a different load patterns here for a 500 kVA Cummins diesel genset. These are my savings on NOx and significant amount of CO2 saving, right from 100 metric tons to as high as 700 metric tons on different ratings of engine. I've shown here 3 different verticals because I wanted to cover a larger genset market. So here you can see, but irrespective of whatever size you're using, natural gas would give out less CO2 as compared to that of diesel. This is a practical installation of a kit on a 1250 kVA Cummins engine. This was done in L&T Bombay. And you can see what we have done within, this is within the canopy. The green color is within the canopy. We ask the customer to provide a connection up to this. This is the flange connection where we'll tie up, bring the gas through the system into this. This is a T-loop because there are two arms, 2 air intake systems, 2 turbos. So we wanted to bring gas in both the arms, and therefore we have put a T-loop configuration here. And apart from this system, what we need is putting down. This is within the apart from the canopy, within the room, we have done this. But we need, apart from that installation within the canopy, I need a space of 2 feet by 3 feet to put my PLC. So you can see this PLC, which has an HMI, what we call as human machine interface. This will keep you, this will give you feedback about what is the temperature, what is the position of your throttle, how much gas is going inside. And if anything goes wrong, the screen will turn from fluorescent green, this fluorescent green color, to red in color. So even your unskilled labor can read out and come to you and say, sir, I'm getting a red color here. And why it has turned red, that reason would come on the screen saying that, okay, your exhaust temperature went too high, your vibration went too high, whatever is the reason. You can call my engineer and they can upfront give you an answer to just do the required services. Like your air intake was chopped. You open, clean, put it back, press this red knob, and you started again, the system starts by itself. So, have we done any installations? So I wanted to brief to you almost every make model globally, especially the Europeans and American makes of engines, we have done. And we included Boulder, Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, John Deere, Kohler, Mitsubishi, MTU, MWM, Perkins, Volvo Penta, and many more. So these are different ratings, but in India, in particular in India, we have done the highest rating was of 2000 kVA with Bosch, and the smaller one in Delhi with 180 kVA. But believe me, it's a fantastic product. People have used far and wide. This is the installation in Assam, where we have obtained 3 repeat orders from them, and you see that they say that these biofuel systems have been installed in 3 of our tea gardens within Assam, and each have run satisfactory for more than 10,000 hours till date. And they could save diesel to an extent up to 60%. But in Assam, during the winter period, they don't pluck leaves, so the load requirements are very low. So it's an average out number. But during the peak time, the displacement, I got the best displacement of 73% in Assam. So 73% of the diesel was saved, and this is the average number of 60% over the period of couple of years. Parle biscuit, very popular brand in India. They are up and running even today. It has got installed in 2012. The engine size is of 1250 kVA, and their displacement is also around 60%. So this is up and running for almost 10 years. And let me tell you, there was no service cost involved in this application. In 2021, Parle spent just 25,000 rupees this year. But in the last 10 years, they haven't spent anything. This product is GreenPro certified. It is known as OptiBlend system, and it is a GreenPro certified product. Okay, so I was talking about the old 10 years and 10,000 hours. What about the recent one? So I brought a case study in which Bicano had given us an order, which was in the end 2020, just got installed very recently in 2021 in this pandemic time. And they were so happy that they now given me a repeat order for 5 more units. You can see here, this is 2020 order, and this has come in June 2021. So within no time, they could see the amount of saving and the way it was working. The reason being they visited both Britannia and Colgate, where we have done this installation. These are some of my customers. So not only Bikano has come on table, Haldiram is also there, Parle is there. A lot of people. This Sabharwal Foods makes for Britannia, so they are the companies for them. And we have done with big companies including ONGC, Escorts, Bosch, L&T. Capgemini is an IT company which is doing this. Is world's largest tea producing company is using this. So a lot of groups you are doing. Mikuni Corporation is a Japanese company, and today they are running for almost 14 to 16 hours every day on their diesel genset. And not only that, they got it converted with one of their engines. Every I think their first conversion was in 2018. By 2021, they have 4 conversions already made on their engines, and they are saving phenomenal on their gensets and the fuel cost. So to conclude this, I would like to say that the use of alternate fuel to reduce cost and dependence on fossil fuel, both the ways it is important. To us, it is important because we reduce our cost burden for the power generation. But as a country, we are also happy because we are using less fossil fuels. That means we have to import less fossil fuels, and it also helps us to save our foreign exchange. Because you are now using gas in your power generation, your per unit power cost goes down significantly. You can increase your profit, and lower operating cost will certainly make your product very competitive to be placed in the global market. And issues related to like theft and storage and supplies of diesel fuel will now get reduced because your diesel consumption goes significantly lower, and you reduce a significant amount of NOx and CO2. So these kind of issues will not be there. I'll take questions a little later. But if the chairperson allows me to put another slide, I would love to do a very small, fast briefing of another project also, which is with the Edencrete.
Sir, how much time would it take for the presentation?
If you allow me 5 minutes, I think 5 to 7 minutes, I'll try to finish this.
We are running short on time. If you can make it in 2 to 3 minutes, some brief presentation, then we can.
Okay. This is something very relevant to Mr. Manish Barot has said. So I was keen to share you this also. This is a product related to carbon nanotubes, and what we do is we basically wanted hydrogen. And sorry, are you able to see this?
No, sir. We are still seeing the thank you slide.
Okay. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Thank you. So the other vertical that I'm going to talk to you is a carbon nanotube based admixture. And as I conveyed you, we were the people who built on the hydrogen infrastructure in the country. What we do is we break methane molecule by pyrolysis and generate hydrogen, and that C comes in the form of solid carbon. This solid carbon is basically nothing but the carbon nanotubes. And carbon nanotubes can be used in a lot of applications, including in plastics, paints, rubbers, batteries, supercapacitors. But we added this to concrete to increase the strength of concrete. The carbon nanotubes that we get are stronger by 100 to 300 times that of steel, and it weighs one-fifth that of steel. So used in racing cars and Boeing planes, but the amount of hydrogen that we were looking forward as a project in the country thought of using a large amount of carbon nanotube generation, and to digest that much amount of carbon nanotubes, we thought of adding this into concrete. And currently we have done a lot of projects in India with the carbon nanotubes. So I just move fast on this. There are different variations of this, but I wanted to show to this. This is a carbon nanotube on which the paste of cement and water hydration has taken place. So what carbon nanotubes can do? The product name is called as Edencrete admixture. We have different variants of Edencrete admixtures, but Edencrete PZ in particular is an admixture which allows more of pozzolans or the cementitious material in this in the concrete mix design. So based on different mix design, you can add more and more of fly ash and can pull out cement for the required strength. So when I add Edencrete admixture to a concrete, I increase the strength of the given mix design, the given concrete. So if my requirement is only that mix design strength, then I can pull out cement, add more fly ash, and reach to the same strength value by adding very little amount of Edencrete PZ. So This addition not only helps you in making a cost implication, but now the concrete that gets formed has very, very long durable life, and it reduces your abrasion, increases permeability, and it is very, very helpful for you to reduce the greenhouse footprint, because you would now add more of fly ash, which has zero greenhouse potential, and replace cement, which has the highest greenhouse potential on this kind of projects. So the amount of fly ash that can be reduced on this project, the amount of cement that can be reduced and the fly ash can be added is based on the type of mix design that you use, and it is on the type of chemistry which is going to play with the given fly ash and cement with the Edencrete admixture. But when you add this Edencrete admixture to a concrete, you increase compressive strength, fractural strength, tensile strength, and make a more durable this product. So the thing is there any basis of this? There are a lot of papers available on the carbon nanotube enriched concrete, but in practice, I wanted to share to you that in the US, they have tested Edencrete PZ as per the ASTM and NetPep test, which is National Transportation Product Evolution Program, and they have been using it now commercially. We started with a initial trial phase, but now we have got commercial orders in the US, and not only that US is using it, but we have started getting businesses from Australia, India, France, and Israel. So unfortunately, we started to do these trials in India in 2020, 2019, and 2020 we got this with the pandemic. But during this period, we did some trials both in Bombay and in Delhi with some construction company, and we have got very, very fantastic results in the strength. So I'll move some of those slides fast. But here is the target market where we can do, which includes road, bridges, pavements, marine, coastal applications, airport, railways, a lot of applications, mainly with the government infrastructure projects and the projects which are done on PPP. For an industrial customers also, that is there for the precast structures, for the warehousing, for industrial different applications, you can still use this. The most important thing is when you add Edencrete to a concrete, you can increase the strength of the concrete. That means you can pull out cement and add more fly ash and get to your required level of the strength. And the fly ash is available cheap. Government wants to get rid of this fly ash. You can take more fly ash and you can reduce your cost of your concrete application. These are some of these applications which we have done successfully, including the precast structures. And you can see different one. This is on a national highway in Georgia, Department of Transport, where we are classified now in the spec sheet also. This is a wall underneath a highway bridge. This is on the port of Savannah. Very nice product. When you use this carbon nanotubes, it does not allow the abrasion to happen so fast. The abrasion resistance are very, very high. And I have some data, but with the restricted time, I'm just running out of this in as fast as I can roll out the thing. This is used in an international airport in Denver also. Some of these, this is with the rail car facility. You can see this is near a stadium. This is in an industrial house, and this is in a shortcut application for a swimming pool. Yeah, we did some trials. Here are some case studies that we have done. And
I request you to conclude, Mr. Manish. We are short on time. Can you conclude
just
it?
Two slides and I'm done.
Yeah.
You can see we have now got with the Department of Transport, with the Georgia state government, that you should add this, and there they have reduced cement by 15% in that particular application. Globally, these are the places where we do, and they have shared their what is the reason they are using this. And here is the mix design in Delhi, where I wanted to show you that we have done this, and we have got something like 30% increase in strength. You can see here with different cement mix, also Ultratech and Shree cements. And just the final one, that you can conclude saying that when you add Edencrete to the solution, you gain strength, and that can allow you to offset these by adding OPC with fly ash and make it more stronger, durable concrete with less greenhouse potential or greenhouse gas footprint. Thank you very much. I'm open now for the question answers, sir. Sorry, thank you very much for giving me this extra
Yes.
time.
Thank you, Mr. Manish, for the presentation on both the latest fuel trends and technologies, and also on the latest carbon nanotube usage in improving the concrete performance. You can stop sharing, sir.
Yes.
You can stop sharing it from the top. You will see the option.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we move on to the question and answer. So first question is for Mr. Devendra. Sir, the question is that can you elaborate a bit more on static and dynamic pressure usage? So I think there is some lack of understanding in the audience. So if you can just expand upon it a little bit.
Correct. So I think this is a very good question. And suppose if any fan is getting operated, correct? So one thing is like that, to achieve particular, let's say particular 10,000 CFM. So you need to have two pressure. One is static, one is velocity pressure. So this dynamic pressure is not getting created by the fan, is getting created by the pattern of the air, you can say. So because of that, the moment you are getting connected with your fan, with the ducting, so you are not losing your velocity pressure in that. So because of that, you are getting more and more in saving on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next question is for Ms. Raita. So the questions, it's like a two-part question. Is cleaning of system manual or any auto system is there? And how soap and other chemicals are removed from sewage water? These both are the questions from a single.
Okay, so cleaning of the system, I think they are referring to the biochamber. So biochamber cleaning is usually done manually because we only have the dry powdered manure. We are not handling any fresh fecal matter. In some cases, we may clean it even with a septic tanker if there is any exceptional situation. And then how soap and other chemicals are removed, like I had shown some treatment equipment, for example, the ozonator. So ozone is something where the chemicals and whatever other substances are there in the water are oxidized and neutralized. So that is how we treat the rest of the pollutants in the water, the ozone, and then we have filtration for all the little suspended solids.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next question is for Mr. Manish Bharot. So the question is like, do you provide any design support when during the installation and planning?
Yes.
And also, it's a two-part question, sir. There is one more element. So they're asking if the geosynthetic can they separate oil and water, and in case they can separate, how do we take out the oil part? So that's also part of the question.
No, this product is generally mostly used for the construction activity only. And for that, we have our design team situated in Gujarat only. We have 15 design engineers with us who can give the design for this geosynthetic product in any application. This is my answer to the first question. And we are also providing site assistance for installation of the project. We are also giving the installation manual, installation of each product we have as per the Indian standard. So, but as per the second question, now that this product is not used to separate the oil and water. Yeah, it definitely can filter the water, but for separation of water and oil, no. It is for separation of two different type of materials geotechnically, means soil and rock or bad soil and good soil. This type of separation layer I am talking about, not for the two type of liquid.
Okay. Next question is for Mr. Manish Dikshit. So the question is like with hydrogen cells and all picking up. So how do you see the usage of diesel and other types of fuels going in towards the future? So how do you see the pattern be? So that's a question.
So, the question is very nice, but let me tell you, hydrogen as a fuel is zero emission fuel. We have been knowing about this since we were into our engineering. A generation has passed, nowhere hydrogen economy has taken place. The real question is why you do not see hydrogen coming up as a real fuel to the market. And there are reasons for that. And one being, it is very, very dangerous to handle hydrogen. Since it is lighter, you need larger volumes, and larger volumes means you have to bring a very high compression ratio. So with 200 bar of gas in a cylinder, which you are currently putting in your car with the same car at 200 bar, you can hardly go to 70 kilometers, and then you have to get it refueled. Whereas on a natural gas, you go all the way to 200 kilometers. So hydrogen does not serve your purpose. Adding hydrogen to methane gives you dual leverages, that you are increasing your distance and you are using the same existing infrastructure. Somebody who has already bought a car has a CNG kit in that, he has nothing to do except air fuel ratio that is being tuned. It's an electronic tuning which needs to be done. And we have done these trials. The government has made trials to do with all buses that are supplied in the country from Ashok Leyland and Tata. And the trials are founding out to be successful. And now you can read that 50 more buses are going in Delhi for HCNG operations. Pure hydrogen is very unsafe to handle. Especially this will enable you to make a bridge. First of all, you have to get with the hydrogen economy, safety standards, and all of the protocols, all IS specification needs to be formulated. So this is the beginning of that roadmap. And the way to go forward, if you want to build an hydrogen economy, is to get with this. But there is another line of understanding which people think hydrogen fuel cell or electric vehicles will not be the dominance in the world market. It will go back to again internal combustion engines. And if that is the case, HCNG would be the fuel that will be required for the future running.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Due to the short of time, we are unable to take any further questions. We have exceeded the time. So we will be concluding the session now. Before concluding, I would request all the speakers to switch on their camera so that we can have some photograph kind of a thing now. Thank you very much for all the speakers for making presentations on their innovative solutions and products. So we have seen the presentations on multiple different areas, starting from infrastructure projects to building applications, industrial applications, and how to make a fuel combustion more efficient, how to use fans efficiently and high efficient fans. We have seen a presentation from Mr. Devendra. From Ms. Raita, we have seen the presentation on how to handle sludge through simple mechanism and make it more efficient and effective with a very minimal handling of the product. And also we have seen a presentation from Mr. Manish Barod on how geosynthetics can be applied in infrastructure projects and can be used to replace conventional materials used. And from Mr. Manish on using the fuel efficiently and also an innovative product that can be used to make concrete more sustainable and more durable. So with this, we conclude the session on innovative products and technologies for buildings and industries. At the outset, we would like to thank all our supporters, without whom this event wouldn't have been such a large success. We would like to thank EcoWood, Somani Ply, GreenPro, JSW Cement, and Tata Steel Tiscon for being a platinum supporters and supporting us from the start throughout. And also, we'd like to thank our associate supporters, Nippon Paint, USG Coral, and Pure Organics brand Wookie for their support in making this session possible and making this event possible. So thank you all. Now we would be concluding the session. I would request Mr. Manish also, Mr. Manish Bharat, to open his camera for a final click of photograph. Thank you all the speakers for having presentations ready and having provided their time in this session and making it such a grand success. So with this, we would like to close the session and close the curtains to this summit. Thank you all the attendees for their patience and attending the session. Thank you for making this summit a grand success. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for your time. Looking forward to hearing from you on the summit and feedback from you. to us organizers. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody, sir.
So Dhanraj, so I think we can